Shah HaMashiach, the 5th chapter of John and the 39th verse.
Search the scriptures.
Side, go get that back and put it on your head like I told you.
Let it go, Mar. Mar, let it go. All right.
John 5:39.
Search the scriptures for any of you think you have eternal life, and there they will testify of me, and you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I am come in my Father's name, you receive me not. If another should come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that comes from Elohim only?
I appreciate you.
Do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. There is one that accuses you, even Moses, in whom you trust. For you have believed in Moses, you are to believe my words. For you have believed in Moses, you are to believe me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not my writings, how should you believe my words?
All right. In Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 6.
Most men will proclaim everyone his own goodness, but a faithful man who can find?
What does that mean to y'all when y'all hear that? Get Proverbs 27 and 1 to go along with it. Go ahead.
The just man walketh in his integrity, his children are baruched after him. The king that sitteth in the throne of judgment scattereth away all evil with his eyes. Who can say, I have made my heart clean, I am pure from my sin?
No, that's not Proverbs 27 and 1.
I thought you said Proverbs 20. And you let me write that up for next one. It said, boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips.
That's good. So what do those two verses have in common? Say, every man proclaim his own goodness, but a faithful man, who can find him? Does anybody have any idea what that could mean?
I ain't gonna lie, that was 22.
So what?
That was 20. That's why I thought that's what you wanted. That's not Proverbs 27. You just quoted.
Yeah, I know it. I just said the first
You still
one.
wanted that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I said 20 and 6, and then 27 and 1.
Oh, okay.
But let's listen to that again. He said, every man proclaim his own goodness, but a faithful man, who can find him? That's one of the examples. But what does he mean, say a faithful man, who can find him? That word for faithful, go and get in Proverbs 13 and 17. It's the same word that's used on something that we looked at on Wednesday.
You said Proverbs what,
13 and 17.
A wicked messenger falleth into mischief, but a faithful ambassador is health.
Does anybody remember what that word for faithful that is used there? It's the same word for faithful in this Proverbs 20 and 6. Not a mon on that one. That was the one in the other Proverbs. But a moon, the shortened version. That's correct. So this is a faithful individual. Now he mentioned one of the examples that we were gonna have. So let's go over here to Matthew chapter 19 and verse 10. Because of course you know that he said every man proclaim his own goodness. Somebody will be quick to tell you that they this, that, there, and the third. But he said, who can find somebody who's faithful? After we read this Matthew 19 and 10, we go to John chapter 1. Ma, take him out the door. Just take him out the door. After that, John 1. Ma, just take him out the door. Somebody just take him out the door until he calms his nerves. Matthew 19 and 10.
His disciples say unto him, if the case of the man be so with his wife, it is not
That's a
good
little
to
too
marry.
high, but it'll work. Matter of fact, no, make it 15. I don't want all that. I'm not reading all that.
He said, he laid his hands on them and departed thence. And behold, one came and said unto him, good master, what good thing shall I do
What was his response?
that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is Elohim.
Now, the word for good is going to be chesed, or somebody who has kindness or mercy or compassionate or good. Now, he didn't proclaim his goodness. Why is that important when you're sitting back looking at it? He didn't proclaim his goodness. The book tells you that this man made himself of no reputation. Do you know what I'm saying? And you turn around and you look at it like we mentioned that in Proverbs, and Proverbs 27:1, all the people made mention of what type of man he was. He never stated on what type of man he was. But he said mainly because anybody can tell you how good they are, right? I'm a good husband, I'm a good wife, I'm a good man, I'm a good person, I'm nice, I'm humble. How do we know that? You telling me that. You bearing witness of your own self. So let's show an example of that. John chapter 5, verse 30. You bearing witness of your own self. How many people you done made name that they say they a lot of things, but you've never heard anyone else say that about them? Somebody say, I'm a hard worker. Then they get the job where they told the person they were a hard worker and they never did nothing. I ain't never heard nobody call you a hard worker but yourself. Go ahead, John 5:30. We get to John 1 in a minute.
And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and
John,
cast it.
John.
It said, I can of my own self do nothing as I hear. I judge, and my judgment is just, because I seek not my own will, but the will of the Father which hath sent me.
Mm-hmm.
If I bear witness of myself, my witness is not true. There is another that beareth witness of me, and I know that the witness which he witnesseth of me is true.
That's good. Because another place they told him that he bear witness of himself. The scribes did. And he told him, he said, though I bear witness, I think it's in John chapter 8. Matter of fact, go on and get it just to make sure. 8 and about 12.
Then spake Yahushua again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. Mm-hmm. The Pharisees therefore said unto him, thou bearest record of thyself, thy record is not true.
That record is what?
Not true.
So at that point, when he said that, he was boasting of his own goodness in their mind. But let's see what he told them.
Yahushua answered and said unto them, though I bear... Ye judge after the flesh, and I judge after no man. Mm-hmm. And yet, if I judge, my judgment is true, for I am not alone, but I and the Father that sent me.
That's good. I want y'all to keep that in mind when he say his judgment is true. Now, we looked at, he said, every man proclaim his own goodness, but a faithful man, who can find him? Let's go to that John chapter 1, right? It picked him up about verse 37.
John chapter 1?
Mm-hmm. Verse 37. Yeah, verse 37. Make it 35.
It said, again, the next day after John stood, and two of his disciples, and looking upon Yahushua as he walked, he said, behold, the Lamb of Elohim. And the two disciples heard him speak, and they followed Yahushua. Then Yahushua turned and saw them following, and said unto them, what seek ye?
He said, what you looking for?
They said unto him, Rabbi, which is to say, Master, where dwellest thou? And he said unto them, come and see. They came and saw there he dwelt, and abode with him that day, for it was about the 10th hour.
If it was the 10th hour of the day, what time of the day was it? It was about 4 o'clock. Go ahead.
One of the two which heard John speak and followed him was Andrew, Simon Peter's brother. He first found his own brother Simon and said unto him, we have found...
We have what?
We have found the
We have what? Hold on.
We have found the Mashiach, which is being interpreted Christ.
Drop to verse 43 and work it again. Look what he say.
And he brought him into Yahushua, and when Yahushua beheld him, he said, thou art Simon, the son of Jonah, thou shalt be called Cephas, which is by interpretation a stone. It said, the day following, Yahushua would go forth unto Galilee.
Somebody open that door.
And finding Philip, and said unto him, follow me. Now Philip was of Basidia, the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip found Nathanael, and said unto him, we have found him of whom Moses...
They did what?
We have found him, in whom Moses and the law and the prophets did right, Yahushua of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. So
why is that important? What does the text lay out about Hamashiach? What does it lay out? What does it say about him? Who knows what it says about him? Because it said, we found him that Moses and the law and the prophets did right. They said they found him. We got to remember, right? It said, every man proclaim his own goodness, but a faithful man, who can find him? Well, let's look at Daniel chapter 9, about verse 26. And let's see what one of the things that it says about Hamashiach, plainly where it say Messiah, but it mentions some of the things that he going to do. Don't y'all know in John chapter 12, the people said that the law said Hamashiach would do what? No, he didn't say. That's what Kaphia said. The people said that we read in the law that Hamashiach abide forever. So we have to look at how would he be able to abide forever. Go ahead.
After 62 weeks shall Mashiach be cut off, but not for himself.
Not for his what?
Not for himself.
He'll be what? Back it up to 24, man. Screw it.
It says 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sin.
To finish what?
To finish the transgression and to make an end of sin.
Why would that be important? Continue.
And to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness.
No. Go ahead.
And to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most Kadai.
Now, why is that important pertaining to, number one, a faithful ambassador bringeth health, and as the cold of the snow in the harvest, so is a faithful messenger to him that sent him, because he refreshed the soul of his masters. How does that relate back to that? And still relating back to what we read in Proverbs 27 and Proverbs chapter 20. Well, let's look at the first thing. One of the things that it mentioned. What are the things that are mentioned in that verse? And that Daniel 9 and 24, what are some of the things that are mentioned? This should be an easy answer. You got making innocent, but he say a faithful messenger bring health, and as the cold and the snow in the harvest, so is a faithful messenger to him that sent him, and that he refreshed the soul of his masters. Who remember what word is the Hebrew word for refresh? Because the word is not refresh. What is the word? See, this is how we know who paid attention or who saw it. It's very easy. The refresh part should stand out because I mentioned it several times last night. And on Wednesday. Who knows what the word for refresh is? Without looking it up. I see you over there. There's on. I ain't mad at him for that. I want to see who can remember it. Huh? That's messenger. I ain't mad at Dare. Dare did the right thing. He said, I'm going to look it up. He ain't wrong. That word was shub. Anybody remember what that word shub mean? Shub. We just dealt with shub when we were talking about being converted. So did. Shub means to return. To return. So if he's making reconciliation for the sins of the people, then he causing them to be refreshed or to convert or to return. Don't you recall what we read in 2 Corinthians chapter 5? Paul say we ambassadors for what? The gospel of reconciliation, that you might be reconciled to Elohim by Mashiach, as if Elohim beseeched you in our stead. As if he, when somebody come preach the gospel, it's as if Yahuwah himself was doing it. You just in his place. Do you know what I'm saying? See, like with little buddy on the stream, he looking at it is he see the man. This is why people want to not believe the word anymore and say you don't got to rely on the book and say a man wrote it. But go and get him 2 Peter chapter 2, man, and pick him up about verse 15. See, the reason why we looking at it, he said, we found Hamashiach. So the reason why I chose Daniel, not because it just says Hamashiach in the verse, but because it states what he was coming to do. He was coming to make an end of sins and to reconcile the people and to seal up the vision. So if he's coming to seal up the vision, he's coming to complete the work. So he has to show himself to be faithful in order to do this. This is why he tell you, why you calling me good? Because at that point, I hadn't done anything yet. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, right? How many women y'all done seen in y'all lifetime say I'm a good woman? How many people you seen outside of that woman could verify that they were a good woman? Because if you have to tell me a good woman 99.9% of the time, you're probably not. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you the only person telling me. It's some people who say I'm a good woman and it's correct. Just like Amashak say, I bear witness of myself, but my record is true. Some people say I'm a good dude, not just in a relationship, say I'm a good dude, and that record is true. Most people is not. If you got to tell me you're a decent, humble, nice person, you're probably not. Who else can bear? Who else can back that up? Can second that? It's always better when other people say it than when you say it. Not only no arrogance stuff, because then that means somebody else bear witness to what you had going on. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't mean that it's not true. That just means other people witness it and I can vouch for them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it with people around Yahushua, they could vouch he was faithful. There wasn't no doubt about it. That's why he said a steward must be faithful. Like we talked about on Wednesday in 1 Corinthians 4. That's what Paul said. A steward got to be found faithful. So if you're faithful, that means you're firm and you're not moved. That means you're going to abide and hold fast to the word in every situation and circumstance. And how could this? Look at all the people who preach the word. Some of them niggas smell of unfaithfulness. You could smell it on them. Do you know what I'm saying? Straight up, though. And they're not going to hold to the word. And he's not going to stand. I say, man, like when we looked at what they went through, how many people going to sit back and say there's knowing there's people out there want to kill you and lock you up for what you finna say and you're going to go out there and do it anyway? That's being faithful. You know what I'm saying? I know the minute I come in here and say what I'm... Think about what he said in Luke, what we read last night. That man told all them people a prophet is not without honor amongst his own people, and that in the midst of all the widows in Yasharal, he only sent Elijah to a Hamite. Out of all the lepers in Yasharal, he looked out for Naaman the Syrian. And they wanted to kill him for it. Now, why would they want to kill him for what the book said? They all knew the story. Y'all familiar? You familiar with Naaman? You familiar with Naaman? Who in here familiar with Naaman the Syrian? What happened with Naaman the Syrian? Does it, and not baptized, but to get cleansed. And does anybody know off the top of their head how Naaman reacted and what was the instruction that Elisha gave him to do? Not in the Jordan. Well, that's how Naaman felt. What Naaman felt was not because of the river. He thought he was going to do something miraculous and out of sight. And all he told him was to get in there and wash. That's all he told him to do. And matter of fact, Elisha told him, if I would have told you to do A, B, C, and D, what would have been the difference versus me telling you to get in there and wash? And see, that's how people come and look at you. When you look at how Yahushua healed a lot of people, he didn't do nothing extra extravagant. It was a couple people blind. He grabbed some dirt, spit on it, put it on their eye, and told them, open your eye, you can see. You know what I'm saying? When the people were impotent, what he told them to do? Shoot, get up and walk, huh? Pick up your bed and go walk. But you know what we be looking for? Something out of bounds like you ain't never seen before. So because you don't see that, you don't want to believe it. That's how you know a lot of the stuff these people be doing be by the work of demons, because how Yahuwah do it is very simple. He just told them to get up. The reason why you can't get up because you ain't believe me when I told you to get up. So that's why you're not going to get up. See, and that's not going to benefit nobody who don't believe. That's only going to benefit people who believe. What it was when the dude was deaf? All he did was spit in his finger, stick it in his ear. Just here, that's all he did. Ain't that what he did? Stuck it in his ear. You can hear now. What did he tell the people when they were dead? He told them to get up. What did Elijah do with the little boy that was dead? He laid on him, breathed in his nostrils 7 times, and the little boy got up. Nothing extravagant. Nothing, even though the work itself is supernatural and miraculous, he didn't do nothing out. If you would have seen that, you'd be like, that nigga crazy. He laying on a dead body. That's the first thing that would have clicked in your mind. That's the first thing that clicked in your mind. That nigga crazy. That nigga laying on a dead body. And then when he would have got up, you either been amazed like, boy, God got to be with him, or I'm running. The reason being because you don't see that every day. You don't see that every day. How many people you know been blind their whole life and you see they can see afterwards because somebody came and rubbed some dirt on their eyes? What about something so simple as a woman grabbing hold to his garment that an issue of blood leaking out of her orifices dried up on the spot? You don't see that every day. You don't see that every day. Well, you got to take him outside. Come on, man. What was that? 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 15.
You say, which have forsaken the right way and gone astray, following after the way of Balaam, the son of Bosor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness.
Was Balaam faithful? So what? He went after that bread. Go ahead.
But was rebuked for his iniquity. The dumb man speaking with a man's voice forbade the madness of the prophet. These are wells without water, clouds that are carried with the tempest, to whom the midst of darkness is reserved forever. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness.
I did not hear what I wanted.
Those that were clean escape from them who live in error.
It was 1 Peter, my bad. 2 Peter chapter 1, I'm not 1 Peter, but chapter 1. 2 Peter chapter 1, about verse 15. That's my bad. 2 Peter chapter 1, not chapter 2, it's chapter 1.
Moreover, I will endeavor that ye may be able after my decease to have these things always in remembrance. For we have not followed cunningly devised fables, when we made known unto you the power of our and coming of our Master Yahushua Mashiach.
So he talking about preaching the gospel. We ain't followed no fables. Go ahead.
But were eyewitness of his majesty. For he received from Elohim the Father honor and esteem, when where came such a voice to him from the excellent esteem, this is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased. And this voice which came from Shamahim we heard when we were with him in the Kadesh Mount. We have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well.
We have a more sure word of what?
Word of prophecy.
That you do what?
That you do well, that you take heed as unto light that shineth in a dark place, until the day dawn and the day star rise in your heart.
So we gotta, so it's not of any, what, you ain't read that verse yet, go ahead. This on
knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but Kadosh men of Elohim spake as they were moved by the Ruach.
So that's what a lot of people try, that's why they try to deny it. See, a man wrote it. When these men spoke according to the Ruach of Elohim. A man can't speak the word of Elohim, but by the Ruach of Elohim. That's the only thing can move you to do it. But yet you have a whole bunch of people preaching the word, and a lot of them say they good, but are they faithful? You know, Mashiach said in the 18th chapter of Luke, he said, but when the Son of Man returns, shall he find faith on the earth? Because a lot of people going to say a lot of things. We got next, we the chosen people, you know, laws, statutes, and commandments. But how many people going to be found faithful at his return? Do you know what I'm saying? Because Yahushua was faithful under what? To death. Come on back. What was that for that, man? Read that Daniel 9 and 24 again.
It says, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy Kadosh city to finish the transgression.
To finish the what?
The transgression.
So let's stop right there. Let's stop right there and let's look at the first part of his faithfulness. Number one, let's take a look at Matthew chapter 16 and verse 20. Because he said to finish the what? The transgression, right? That's what he said, ain't it? So, I mean, he got to put an end to it. Matter of fact, don't get that. Get Luke chapter 1, verse 68. That's what we want. And after that, get me Isaiah 24 and 1. Luke chapter 1, verse 68.
It said, Baruch be Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharah, for he has visited and redeemed his people.
He has done what?
He has visited and redeemed his people, and has raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant, as he spake by the mouth of his Kadosh prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from our hands and from the hands of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers and remember his Kadosh covenant.
Cool, that's good. So the first thing is sit back and look at it. He has to finish the transgression and make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity. Let's take a look at Deuteronomy chapter 30, if I'm not mistaken. Deuteronomy 30. Let's look at the first spot where he's going to tell you this, because he already going to let you know. He know what you're going to do before you even did. We want Deuteronomy chapter 30. Pick it up at verse 2, I suppose. Deuteronomy 30 and 2.
It said, "And thou shalt return unto Yahuwah thy Elohim, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command this day, thou and thy children with all thy heart and with all thy soul. That then Yahuwah thy Elohim will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and return and gather thee from all the nations whither Yahuwah thy Elohim has scattered thee."
That's good. Drop down to verse 6.
It says, "And Yahuwah thy Elohim will circumcise thy heart and the heart of thy seed to love Yahuwah thy Elohim with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live.
Go ahead.
And Yahuwah thy Elohim will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee."
Now, why would he be talking about these curses and they ain't even out in the wilderness yet? Now, go to Deuteronomy 4, right, about verse 27. Because he already know you're going to corrupt yourself. So he already going to know that I'm going to have to redeem you. I'm going to have to come get you. Make it Deuteronomy 4 and 26. Matter of fact, make it 23.
It said, "Take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of Yahuwah thy Elohim, which he have made with you, and make..." "Take heed yourself, lest ye forget the covenant of Yahuwah thy Elohim, which he made with you, and make you a graven image, or the likeness of anything which Yahuwah thy Elohim hath forbidden thee. For Yahuwah thy Elohim is a consuming fire, even the jealous Elohim."
Go ahead.
My bad, somebody called.
Come here, Eugene.
It said, "When thou beget children, our children's children, ye shall remain long in the land, and shall corrupt yourself, and make a graven image or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of Yahuwah thy Elohim to provoke him."
See, in another place, Moses told them, after my decease, what was the children of Israel going to do? He said, you will utterly corrupt yourself. He already know what you were going to do. Now, of course, we know the covenant was broken with what? When is the first time they broke the covenant? Shoot, they had broken it before then, to be honest. That's the one that stands out the most, but they had broken it before then. When they started complaining. Because what is murmuring is? What is murmuring a sign of? Disbelief. So you done already broke it. He hadn't even entered the covenant with him, and they had already broken it. They had already broken it. You know how sad that is? Come here, boy. Your mama gave you that? So now Yahushua got to come and make reconciliation for the sins of the people. He got to come around and make an end of transgression and make an end of sins. So when he say make an end of sins, what you think he mean? No, I'm talking about when he said make an end in Daniel. He said make an end of sins. What do y'all think he mean? So what now? Indefinitely, that could be acceptable. But we're looking for something else, though. Be gone, my good man. Have a good day. Definitely ending death. So if he ends death by ending sins and finishing transgression, then what else has he ended? No, like I'm going on what she mentioned. If death is stopped, then what causes death? So then you're not sinning no more. Because therefore then you wouldn't die. So that's what he's stopping. You know what I'm saying? This is how a faithful ambassador bring health. Get me Psalms 105 and 1. This is what he mean by a faithful man who can find. That ought to be strong. You got to be real faithful to know that you finna die and go do it, and still go do it. And still go do it. See, don't none of us know. Like I said, right? You know you're born, and eventually, as you get older, you figure out, or someone tells you you're gonna die one day. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a whole nother thing to be born and know your specific purpose is to die at a set time for a set cause and for a set reason. And if you don't, the whole plan is thrown out of whack. And you're not dying for the sake of dying. You're dying for people who don't even deserve your blood. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't even deserve your blood. They don't even deserve the sacrifice that you're about to make. And they mocked you and ridiculed you on your way to go do it. This is what we're going in about. You can't be around here slothful talking about it's a lion in the street because you scared to be persecuted for the word, because you scared of wicked men. That means you ain't cut out for the game. Oh, somebody need to shut that door. All you got to do is bring it to him, put the thing down. Go ahead, man.
105:1. Mm-hmm. It said, "Oh, give thanks unto Yahuwah, call upon his name and make known his deeds among the people. Sing unto him and sing psalms unto him. Talk ye of all his wondrous works. Mm-hmm. Esteem ye in his Kadash name, and let the heart of them rejoice that seek Yahuwah. Seek Yahuwah in his strength and seek his face evermore. Remember his marvelous works."
It's 103. Psalms 103. 103 and 1.
It says, "Baruch Yahuwah, O my soul, and all that is within me. Baruch his Kadash name. Baruch Yahuwah, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. Who forgiveth all thine iniquities, who healeth all thy diseases, who redeemeth thy life from destruction, who crowneth thee with loving kindness."
So he say he forgives all your iniquities and heals all your diseases. It says a faithful ambassador brings health. What did Yahushua keep telling them people he was what? Come over here to Luke 5. Look what he kept telling them. Luke 5 and 27. Anybody remember the parable that we read last night that he said that they would say about him? It's over here in the book of Luke. Who can remember what was said? He said, "You're going to tell to me one day, physician, heal thyself." Because remember, he coming to, who else come heals but a physician? You know what I'm talking about? See, now you got a lot of, everybody a physician these days because of the internet. You know what I'm saying? See, the internet is one of the greatest things that happen and one of the worst. It's the worst because it gave idiots a platform to espouse their stupidity on a regular basis on any platform and forum that they could get their hands on. You know what I'm saying? It also allowed the proliferation of misinformation. You know what I'm talking about? And it also allowed people to look and read anything and deem themselves an expert on something because they researched it on the internet. But it also allowed individuals to get their hands on information that could be beneficial to whatever it was that they were trying to do. The stuff we could do now, the information you could get now, you couldn't get that 30 years ago. I can tell you that. Oh, no, you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that in 1988. Shoot, you couldn't do it in 1998. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to find something out, you was going to have to go to the library and pop open that, make yourself acquainted with the Dewey Decimal System. That's what you were going to have to do. That means you were going to have to check out a book or find somebody who actually knew how to do it. See, now you used to, if you don't know how to do something, you could just go on YouTube and pull a video up and watch it. Yeah, you couldn't do that 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? There was no way and no how. You was going to have to get a book and read it and figure out how to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing, but it's a bad, huh? You know what I'm saying? Like I say, it allowed people to proliferate and be idiots You got experts in everything now. Go ahead, man.
Luke 5.
Luke 5, 27.
It says, and after these things he went forth and saw the publican named Levi sitting at the receipt of custom, and he said unto him, follow me. And he left all and rose up and followed him. And Levi made him a great feast in his own house, and there was a great company of publicans and of others which sat down with him. But their scribes and Pharisees murmured against his disciples, saying, why do you eat and drink with the publicans and sinners? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, they that are whole need have not a physician, but they that are sick. But they that are sick. I came not to call the righteous, but sinners into repentance.
So he said back, he let him know he was a physician. He's the one that heals all your diseases. Now, when he say the righteous don't need a physician, but a sinner, what y'all think he mean? It relates to something that Paul wrote in one of his epistle letters. Paul made a statement that the law is not for who? Not for righteous men. Go on to get it, man. 2 Timothy chapter 1, if I'm not mistaken.
He said chapter 1.
Yeah, chapter 1. 1 and 6.
Second.
1 and 6.
It says, wherefore I put thee in remembrance that thou stir up the gift of Elohim which is in thee by the putting on of thy hands.
No, you're reading the wrong thing. It's 1 Timothy 1. Verse 6. You said chapter. That was through my mouth. I meant verse 6.
That's where I started.
No, we want 1 and 6. Chapter 1, verse 6.
1 Timothy. I asked you second. You said yeah.
No, I could have sworn you said 1.
First Timothy 1 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
It says, for which some having swerved have turned aside into vain jangling, desiring to be teachers of the law, understanding neither what they say nor whereof they affirm. But we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully.
Knowing this,
that the law is not made for a righteous man.
But who is it for?
But for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and for the sinner, for the unkadosh and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers and manslayers, for whoremongers and them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars, for the perjured person, if there be any other that is contrary.
So this is what Hamashiach is coming to do, is reconcile iniquity, make an end of sins, and make an end of transgressions. Matthew chapter 16, verse 20. In Matthew 20, he told you that he came to make his life a ransom for the people. Remember, right, according to the two genealogies that's in the book of Matthew and the book of Luke, which one pertains to this particular situation that we're speaking of right now? The one in Luke. Why the one in Luke? That's not the correct answer.
What was the question?
The genealogy of Luke, why is it important? If we're talking about making a reconciliation for iniquity and the end sins, and I say which genealogy, Matthew or Luke, is relevant to what we're discussing right now. He stated Luke. That is correct. So why is Luke the correct one? Because Luke go back to Adam. So then why is it important then if it go back to Adam? So Adam brought sin into the world. So he got to make an end of sins, which goes to what she mentioned. You got to make an end of death. The only way you can stop death is to stop sin. If you stop sin, there is no death. You know what I'm saying? This is what make him a faithful man, because he came to stop sin. What did he say? Greater love had no man than what? So he laid his life down for his people to stop death. So I'll become a curse to lift a curse. I'll suffer. Peter wrote that he said the just man suffered for the unjust. You know what I'm saying? A complete contradiction to himself. Like you hear a lot of people. How many of y'all ever heard people say that ain't no way Yahushua could be Elohim because Elohim can't die? Now, how would you answer that question? It's very simple. Okay, what you say, sir? How would you, if somebody said, if he God, how can God die? I don't know, he mumbled it a little bit. I only caught 3/4. Okay, he got that one. But how can Elohim die, though? Yeah, because he was flesh. The spirit don't die. The flesh do, though. The breath that was in him then can't never be destroyed. Who's the only person who can destroy Yahuwah? Only himself, if that's what he chose to do. Do you know what I'm saying? He's the only person that could destroy him is himself. If he said, I don't want to be here no more. But then, of course, that because what does his name mean? Is he's self-existent and he's self-sustaining. He doesn't need anyone. That's a hard concept for people to fathom. Most people want to sit, but we know it's something greater than ourselves, and this, that, and the third. But to put it in the most simplest terms, we're like Play-Doh toys that he made for himself, for his particular will and pleasure. You know what I'm saying? I made somewhere for them to play. I gave them the things that they need to be able to play, and I created them to do the things that I wanted them to do. How many of y'all, some of y'all done post that video game them niggas you play? You could build your own city and all them people stuff. That's it right there. Why you think white people make something like that? Make them feel like they God. You know what I'm saying? You can create a whole city. You can create the sun. You can create the climate. You can create the people. You can make them look any way you want to look. You can make them marry who you want to marry. You know what I'm saying? You can kill who you want to kill. You seen Buddy on there, why God kill all these people? He ain't killed nobody. Oh, I didn't know if y'all could see him or not.
Seem like you're Jehovah's Witness.
Oh yeah, if you subscribe, you should be able to see it, because you can get in the chat. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, if you subscribe, you should be able to see the comments because you can comment in the chat. I mean, I have to pay attention. But his point was, is a lot of people say that Yah kills people. He killed people. Like I just shared that story, a lady got 25 years, right, for pimping out her daughters. What Yah had to do with that? So you know what people say, well, where was Yah at for that? So why are you holding this man responsible because this woman is a degenerate? Do you know what I'm saying? I seen what on yesterday, they gave that lady 1 year for every year that little girl was missing. What did y'all have to do that this lady put a plan together to kidnap somebody else's child? Did she harm that child? No, she didn't. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, that's about right. That's about what you're going to get for kidnapping. I don't know what y'all think people get for kidnapping. If you don't kill them, that's about what you're going to get, about 10 to 15. They ain't finna give you no 30, 40. No, they ain't finna do that. And it wasn't a federal charge, so I don't even think kidnapping carry life in this state. Or she wouldn't even been in court here. She'd have been at the courthouse. She'd been at the courthouse across the street from him in Plaza. She didn't even catch a federal charge for that. Because kidnapping is a federal charge. Most of the time you kidnap somebody, you're going to get a Fed case. See, y'all don't know the course. Man, people don't get slung and hung like y'all think they do. Only po' niggas get slung.
Po' nigga crime.
For po' nigga crime. They get slung. A lot of people don't get slung. Not like you think they do. This ain't TV. They ain't bamming niggas like that. They trying to get them cases off their books.
You seen what a cracker got?
Because
like
the feds have to choose to take it.
Raping the baby.
Yeah, I seen that. The cracker got a year.
They got a year for raping like a 3-year-old, 5-year-old.
Happens all the time.
A year.
And not even jail time. They get paper.
Yeah.
Probation? And don't got to file. And he ain't got to file as a sexual predator. Happens all the time. Man, these people cases look so backlogged. Man, these people be trying to clear them cases. Guess what though? Yahuwah backlog ain't never gonna be back. He gonna file him in and file him out. Name ain't here. You ain't necessarily he has some money. You gotta have some bread now. You gotta have some bread now. If you got some bread, you can get around anything. About 95% of the time. If you got some money, you can get around it. The reason why you can get around it because you can pay to fight the case. If you don't have no money to fight the case, Because, see, them people want to clear their books. So if you got a lawyer that's steady going to fight it and fight it and fight it, then the state going to be like, man, let's just come up with something and get this over with. You know what I'm saying?
You would think he'd be riding in the street off of that junk.
No, nobody cares.
Don't nobody care, bro.
Don't nobody care.
Like, real talk.
This stuff happen every single... Niggas get kidnapped every day, B. And niggas get 10 years for it, 5 years for it. You put it this way, right? Charles Manson is dead, right? He caught a life sentence. He ain't killed nobody, though. You know what I'm saying? He told niggas to go kill somebody. You know what I'm talking about? Like, shoot, you would think people like, why he ain't get a death penalty? Because technically he ain't did nothing to deserve a death penalty. He ain't killed nobody. Like, straight up. Ted Bundy got a death penalty. That nigga killed a lot of people. But they had to do that just on the fact of how famous his case was, which was before everybody in his time, probably except for my mama. They made a movie about him and all. Y'all know who Ted Bundy is? He wasn't no homosexual? No, Ted Bundy was in the state of Florida, in North Florida and Central Florida, going around kidnapping women, raping them, and killing them. I gotta pay. There was another white dude that was killing chicks at Gainesville in the 90s. Knocking them off, killing them dead. Serial killer. Just like there's a lot of dudes that catch murder cases, they don't get life sentences. They did a lot of dude up the other day because he killed the lady by $20. He ain't gonna get a life sentence. He probably get 20, 30 years, but he ain't gonna get no life sentence. The only way you're gonna get a life sentence, you go to trial and lose. My homeboy, he caught 50. Because he stabbed his mama old man, and he ain't stopped stabbing him. Because they, like they said, if you stab somebody, they be like, once you mobilize them or stop them, you can't keep stabbing them. No, I tell you that, but they ain't give him 50, they gave him 28 years. He told him he show him some leniency and gave him 28 years. Because he killed the nigga. No, they don't get, man, look here, man. That's TV make you think they be bamming people. They only show the people who get a whole bunch of time who they want to show you. People don't get hit like that. Come on, man. Oliver North got caught selling cocaine. That man ain't do a day in jail. Y'all know who Oliver North is? Yeah. I watched it in 87. They got caught selling cocaine. The United States government got caught selling cocaine. You know what I'm saying? The man out there like this here. I sold the coke. Ronald Reagan said, I ain't know we were doing none of that. I ain't know nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? For real. And Oliver North is a best-selling New York Times best-selling author, had multiple shows on Fox News. Man, they never do a day in jail. Got caught selling coke. George Bush got caught selling coke. I'm talking about his daddy, not the young Bush. Oh, man, come on, man. Everybody know these people sell coke. Bill Clinton and family been got caught selling coke. You know what I'm talking about? Man, they cover that junk up and move on and make you feel like you a conspiracy. Like, this ain't no conspiracy here. Like, these people really got caught with the coke, niggas told, and they sweep it up under the rug. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, shoot. Yeah, now, with Oliver North, they did hearings. Like, a particular congressman from Hawaii was asking specific questions, and they was like, oh, that's classified. We can't answer that. Like, this ain't just no, like, shoot. Look it up. C-SPAN, 87. They got caught. They got caught. Nothing happened to no one. You know what I'm saying? It's not a secret that the CIA put crack on the street. This is known. Niggas got caught. CIA agents got caught. Niggas ain't going to jail. But shoot, boy, I know a nigga who did 30 years for a $20 rock. Straight up. I know niggas done caught dubs. Boy, I was locked up with a nigga with a dub for a $20 rock and couldn't read. So how was he going to get himself out of prison if them people screwed him? Now, my homeboy, he caught him a good, what he called, about a good 50. I think it might have been 55. He did that, though. He killed them people. He killed them and put them in his trunk and went and buried them. Who the little jit who rap? That ugly, ain't him? You watch your three brothers get murdered, you get hit, and you go to jail.
He turned himself in, though.
It don't even matter. Why you violate my probation? Because I got shot?
They had sticks in the car.
Well, yeah, shoot, yeah, they're gonna violate you.
Yeah,
Then.
shoot.
Yeah, they
I
gonna
mean,
violate.
I respect what they saying, but shoot, y'all got sticks in the car.
Oh yeah, they gonna violate you then.
Violation.
Not every time. They ain't gonna care nothing about you guys. See, that's the whole thing. Where you see the law don't got no compassion. This the same, and I'm glad that we transitioned to that because the law of Yahuwah ain't got no compassion. The law of Yahuwah say you do this, you die. They ain't supposed to let you get out the hospital.
He was turning himself in. He was out the hospital.
See you looking at it this here. Where the compassion at? You the dumb nigga riding around with pistols beefing with niggas. That's what you get.
And if your niggas care about you, they not gonna let you ride like that. Cause y'all could have got pulled over and they had a stick and you still didn't make the jail.
Regardless.
Y'all got shot up or died or anything.
Regardless.
Y'all could have got pulled over for a taillight and you would have got violated.
Cause you going to jail. Get what? You going to jail even if them niggas said all these guns in the car are ours cause you ain't even supposed to be around it.
Yeah, straight up.
You know what they do to you when you come out of prison? Or if you got paper? If your probation say you can't be around no alcohol and you at a nigga house and your PO show up and that nigga got a beer in the refrigerator, you're going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't even supposed to be around it.
When they put the 3 bodies in him too, just for being there?
Oh, no. The only way that can happen is if those people get killed in the commission of a felony. You know what I'm saying? No, it's really more geared towards if the police kill them. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do something, the police kill them, you catch their bodies. And I done been locked up with people who that happened to them. They gonna hide you. You know what I'm saying? Worst thing in the world, see a nigga come back with 3 life sentences and he earned all 3 of them. That junk ain't no joke, boy. I done been locked up. So all that, it's some niggas in there, boy. I'd be like, boy, bruh ain't did nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or they being a little bit over the top. But a lot of them niggas, oh, they deserved everything they caught. I know my judge told my state attorney, y'all overcharged that man. Because that's what they like to do. They like to make your charges a little higher so then that they could plea him down to something lesser to get the time out of you that they want to get. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing they do, right? You catch a sales charge, they'll make it 1,000 feet of a school to put more pressure on you to plea out. Because 1,000 feet of a school carries 3-year minimum mandatory and a 30-year maximum sentence. So, and then that raises the point scale because you get something up the road based on points. The feds do the same thing. It's based on points. Like if you catch a fed case, you pretty much know how much time you're going to get.
I don't get that though, minimum mandatory.
A minimum mandatory meaning that before you can get out, you got to do a minimum mandatory 3 years.
But how you get out of that?
You can't get out of it. It's charges that carry minimum mandatory. And the federal system is worse. A little bit of crack carry a 10-year minimum mandatory. So that means you got to do the whole 10.
But my nigga got a sales charge within the school and he ain't have to do it like a year and a half.
That means they dropped it down to a regular sales. I could charge you with that.
I was asking.
Yeah, no. I could charge, that's what I'm talking about, overcharging. I charge you with this higher felony so I can reduce it down to this felony to get you to plea out. So if I'm hanging 30 years over your head with this 1,000 feet of a, because they got 1,000 feet of a school, 1,000 feet of a church, 1,000 feet of a convenience store.
That's how they ban all the niggas in Cleveland on. And they can give you any of the 3.
All 3 of them.
Any of the 3, you get caught up in there.
It's a convenience store on every corner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what man.
Plus who what? What are you talking about?
She said she got life for selling crack.
Who got life for selling crack? She probably got a federal case.
The one Kim Kardashian so-called pot.
Oh, that's a federal case. Feds is way worse. Way worse. You know what I'm saying? That's way worse. That's a federal case. That's something different. I just seen they locked the lady up for selling fentanyl. Fentanyl is like heroin, man. Children. Nobody want to hear all that.
Well, I'll never forget when I went in there, they was doing that process and I was in that holding. This punk came in there. He said he was serving 25 and he got sentenced when he was 16. And that's what that was the time where they were pulling everybody out of the prisons that got he either had life or 25, but I think it was life.
If you got life in this state, that's exactly what it means.
But they were saying that it was something that they did where they reversed it where you can't give life to a minor.
Yeah, they did do that. They did that when I was locked up. You can't give a life sentence to a
So he
minor
pretty much was coming back
to come home.
He was coming back to go back to try to get
No,
whatever they were
they gonna re-sentence him. Basically, he was coming back to come home. If he had already been gone for a quarter, they were finna get ready to let him out.
I don't think he was going for a quarter. He might have been, but boy, I looked at that nigga eyes until he had been through it, boy. He looked like he was about 35, 40. But he said he had been in there since he was 16. And he was a straight punk.
Yeah, nigga done got him.
I mean, straight
pushed
punk,
his button.
Like, you seen it, like, that nigga look like he just got, like, that nigga whole life.
That John rough, man. My homeboy did 12 out of 15, boy, to the dope for
like,
Robert Hardest.
Life was just.
Crazy, you can see it in the nigga eyes, man.
You can see anything in the nigga eyes, boy. My eyes don't hide
tough,
nothing.
boy.
You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man, let's roll, man. My eyes don't hide nothing. But see how we mentioned this here? That law ain't got no compassion, boy. None. Nobody finna have no compassion on you.
For you to give a 16-year-old life. It don't really matter what they did. They wasn't on no killing spree. How you gonna give a nigga 16 life?
Because that's why they came up with them federal charges to get rid of you. They trying to get rid of you.
You still a child.
Y'all know who came up with these harsh federal drug laws? Everybody's favorite nigga, Bill Clinton. That's who came up with them. I remember when it happened, when he passed them. That's who came up with them. Do you know what I'm saying? Y'all know who started the war on drugs? No, Ronald Reagan ain't started the war on drugs. Richard Nixon started the war on drugs. Just like they came up with a war on terror so they could terrorize and mess with whoever they want to. I see Hebrew niggas scared talking about we on federal watch list. That's a nigga who say he's slothful. There's a lion in the street. Scary nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Care about no federal watch list, nigga. I'm on we gon' terrorist list. You sound like a sucker. You think Yahushua would be walking around here talking about they got him on a terrorist list? You think he would even care?
You know, Caesar got me on watch, boy. They slide to Jerusalem, yeah.
Bro, I done heard niggas say that. They gonna have you on a watch list. Y'all terrorists. Well, shoot, nigga, I'ma terrorize some more then, nigga. What they gonna do, not let me fly? Shoot, I ain't got no money no way. Come on. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no money. I smell a nigga with money. That's what he say. And they say, money making sonny. The future of our nation. Ain't that about it? I'm trying to tell you. Come on, man.
Matthew 16.
And 20.
It says, then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Yahushua the Mashiach. From that time forth began Yahushua to show unto his disciples how that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things.
Suffer what?
Many things.
Suffer what?
Many things.
Come on.
Of the elders and chief priests and scribes to be killed and to be raised again on the third day.
So he came to be killed to do what? To stop sins, right? 1 John 3:3. So we could be reconciled. But you see how that go back as a faithful message, how he refreshed the soul of his masters? Because he's causing it to be reconciled to cause you to return. And that's what Yahuwah wants. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what he wants. You know what the worst thing is? You know, the recidivism rate from getting out of prison for most people is very high. But you know, the recidivism rate for most people in the world probably even higher. Do you know what I'm saying? That you hear the word of salvation to free you from sin, but yet you keep going back to it. You think you get tired of going in. You think niggas get tired of going in and out of jail. And you think people would get tired of going in back and forth to sin. You think you get tired of it. Go ahead.
It's saying every man that has his hope in him purify himself even as he is pure. Whosoever committed sin transgresses also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. And you know that he was manifest to take away our sins.
He was manifested to do what?
Take away our
Don't
sins.
they say to make end of sins? And what else was he manifested to do? Well, go ahead. What else did it say? My bad.
And in him is no sin.
And no sin.
Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not. Whosoever sinneth not whoever sinneth have not seen him.
Notice right, in him is no sin. He came to take away our sins. And that's one of the things of what he seemed to be a faithful man. A faithful man. In Hebrews 12, it tell you how he despised the shame for the joy set before him. He despised the shame. Go to get it for him. Hebrews 12 and 2. They're going to get it for him.
Looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our
Looking
faith.
unto who?
Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith. Who for the joy that was set before him endured the state, despiting the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Elohim.
You see how that's faithful right there? He looked for the joy set before him. He ain't see the state. That's being, you faithful if you keep the man laws, but that don't mean you trust Yah though. Now, what example do we have of that? You know what example we have from that? When it told you about a certain king who kept the laws of Yahuwah, but he didn't do it with what? A perfect heart. So that means he wasn't faithful. See, people, and I'm going to talk to y'all about this when I get done. Oh, everybody's not here, but I got, huh? I think it was somebody. It wasn't who. Yeah, I want to say it was Asa, if my memory serves correct. But I heard this the other day, and this is a true statement. I'll talk to y'all about it when we get done, because we ain't going to be long, because that's why I started earlier. The true hallmark of leadership and character is manifested when? In adversity. You know what I'm saying? So it's real easy to lead. It's real easy to say you this, that, there, and the third when everything is good. Do you know what I'm saying? See, where that came up at, and that was a true statement when I was listening to them people talk about what happened in that first game of the finals. Because there was a certain way that he could have handled that situation that he chose not to do. Do you know what I'm saying? And it affected everybody on his team. Whether you could see it in their body language, you could see it in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? See, the most horrible thing you could have is if the person who leading you don't believe in you, then you're not going to believe in yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? If the person who leading you don't trust you, then you're not going to trust you're going to be able to do it. Because you looking at him. You know what I'm saying? The book told you to look to who? Look to Yahushua. So when you look at his faithfulness and how he did things in the midst of adversity, it should cause you to be able to have a strong mind for you to endure it as well. That's why we read what we read with Paul. Paul said, I was in peril of robbers and countrymen. I'd been stoned. You know what I'm saying? I'd been beaten, shipwrecked, locked up. I'm still going, though. So if you turn around and you see that this man is doing all this to preach the word, you ain't even got to preach it. You know what I'm talking about? Then you should be able to endure whatever it is you got to suffer. Because look at what this man is taking. You know what I'm talking about? Like straight up and down, you supposed to look at that. Ain't none of us got spit in the face. I done been here too many times. Nobody beat you. Ain't nobody hung you from no tree. And you looking at it, if that man can endure that, then you can endure a little adversity. Just a little bit. Get in Romans 8 and 18 real quick. You know what the book say? He say, if you do what in the day of adversity, what is small? If you what? If you faint, what is small then? Your faith or your strength. That's what he tell you. See, the book is telling you, like he said, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength was small. Yahushua didn't fall out in the middle of the flow. We done read a story about our ancestors fell out. They fainted when they seen them giants and them people in the land. They fainted. Their strength was small. You got to remember, trusting Yahuwah is everlasting strength. And he who mind is stayed on thee is because you trust in him. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people, they don't trust in Yahuwah. That's why they're not faithful. See, niggas think they faithful because they feed some homeless people. Wicked people feed homeless people every day. Huh? Catholics feed homeless people. They got Catholic charity downtown. They pay your light bill and all. You know what I'm saying? They help pay your rent and all that there. You might catch wreck getting them on the phone, but they'll do it though. There is a Christian organization downtown in every city. They'll pay whatever bill you want to pay. They'll feed you. They pass out food to the homeless every day. They give them clothes every day. Them people good and wicked. That don't mean nothing to me. I'm not impressed.
What is it?
Shoot, downtown. Oh, they ain't gonna pay your car note. They don't pay your car note. But if your light's finna get cut off, they'll pay that though. If you can't pay your rent, they might could pay that. You might have to keep calling them back to back, back to back. If you ain't got nowhere to stay, they might even give you somewhere to stay. I just took somebody to go see about that the other day. Because they know somebody who they got where they stand behind that. Them people will pay it now. But I tell you, I'd have been in a homeless shelter before. I can tell you. But them people don't care nothing about them niggas in there. They'll do anything for you, but you got to sign up for their Christian programs. They'll help you get a job. Come on, man. What you think they're there for? How they going to keep getting their 501c3 money if they ain't filling these programs?
That's all Jehovah's Witness do. That's how my uncle got Jehovah's Witness. He was in the rehab program. And You got to do what they want you to do. They'll pay for your room and board, get you a job.
They'll do all that.
Do all that.
Long as you proclaim Jesus.
Being a non-profit organization, you can apply for all them grants and all that.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, though, you can do all that, but it's outside of that. They will help you, but if you're not willing to proclaim Jesus, then they're not going to help you. They're not going to help you. See, that's how the white people say it.
But that's what you do. You gotta come to the you gotta come to the temple.
Yeah, you got to do all that.
You gotta go out there
And witness.
You got to.
Whatever denomination they is.
They're not gonna keep paying.
They're not going to keep paying for it. You got to become a full-fledged Christian. I was standing there telling the dudes, I said, so you mean to tell me y'all ain't going to help nobody in here unless we become a Christian? I said, well, y'all can take all that stuff and shove it up your butthole. You know what I'm saying? I said, y'all wonder why these dudes sitting in here and don't care, because they know you don't really care about me. Because if you really care about me, it wouldn't matter if I wanted to follow your religion or not, you would do it. So it's not about me, it's really about you. That's why I keep telling you, when people say it feels good to help people and all that, you ain't do that for them, you did that for you, so you wicked. You ain't never hear Yahushua say, I felt good for healing that blind man. It made me feel so warm and bubbly inside. You ever read him say that? Did you see Elisha feel so great about telling that woman she'll have a baby? The one thing he wanted to see was she happy, because he did it for her. And when she told him that baby was dead, he was saddened behind that because he cared about her. It ain't about no feeling for him. Do you know what I'm saying? But we get that because that's what society tells us. It makes you feel good on the inside when you help people. That means you didn't do that for them. You did that for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because if you did it for them, it would be for them and you wouldn't have no feeling, because it's the right thing to do. Because you have genuine mercy and compassion on this person. Because the minute you go to talking about how it make you feel on the inside is because you're ready to go tell somebody about what you did for someone. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's not a faithful person. Yahushua told them people, don't tell nobody what I did. Because I didn't do that for that. I did that because I seen you were suffering. I had compassion on you. That's a faithful man. You know what I'm saying? Because he said every man, this goes to what we talk about in Proverbs 26. Every man proclaim his own goodness, but a faithful man who can find. He ain't go around there telling people he was healing nobody. He only told them to tell that to one person. Who he told them to go tell that to? Y'all know who he told them to tell it to? Read Romans 8:18, and we'll read who he told them to tell that to. And then we got to get off this topic. I go all day on this.
For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the esteem which shall be revealed in us.
That what? That suffering ain't what?
The suffering of this present time are not worthy to be compared.
That's what you have to look at. The suffering that Yahushua suffered at that time wasn't going to be comparable to the esteem he was going to get when he resurrected from the dead. He was going to be a son of Elohim at this point. If you can endure it, what you're going to get in return is going to be much greater. Luke chapter 13, right? 13 and 31. This is the only time Yahushua told him to go tell somebody something.
He said, the same day were certain of the Pharisees saying unto him, get thee out and depart thence, for Herod will kill thee.
So he said, right, who telling him to leave?
Pharisees.
Now, there's a lion in the street. Leave.
A certain Pharisee.
A certain Pharisee telling him like this here, well, you better leave. It's lions in the street. Look what Yahushua told him, though.
And he said unto him, go ye and tell that fox.
He said, go tell him this then.
Behold, I cast out devils.
So guess what? I'm casting out devil. What else I'm doing?
I do cures today and tomorrow.
And I do cures today and tomorrow.
And the third day I will be.
And I'm going to get up from the dead. So that's what you go tell him. See, that's not, you know what that is? That's not proclaiming his goodness right there. You know what he telling? You didn't let him know that's what I'm on. Since you so worried about him killing me. You know what I'm talking about? Go tell him that. You see, you hear that sound? That you on a terrorist watch list. You go tell that nigga this right here. You tell him I said it. Do you know what I'm saying? And you heard what he told him. Go tell that fox. Go tell that wicked nigga this here. Say it come from me. Keep on going. That's gangster right there.
Nevertheless,
you gotta love that.
Walk today and tomorrow and the day following, for it cannot be that a prophet perish out of Jerusalem.
Go ahead, read some more.
O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killeth the prophets and stoneth them that are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together as a hen doth gather her brood under her wings, and ye would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate.
Desolate. So y'all get that how a faithful man say every man proclaim his goodness, but a faithful man he can find. Who can find him? Because he was faithful to death. Get him Revelation 12 in time, man. I ain't even go no further. We just leave that one point, because that's where that gospel of reconciliation coming at. That's how he a faithful ambassador who come to heal, because I'm coming to heal you from your sin. Don't the epistle of Romans talk about how when we die with a Mashiach, sin have no more dominion over us? You know what I'm saying? That he died under sin how many times? One time. So we ought to die to sin how many times? One time. So that's making an end of sins. Because when that man got up there on that stake and said, it's finished, he made an end of sins and an end of transgression, sealed up the vision, and brought in the reconciliation for iniquity, because now you can return back to your Elohim through him. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why he tell you, as the cold and the snow and the harvest, so as a faithful messenger to him that sent him, he refreshed the soul of his master, because he's coming to bring souls back. Not one time did he tell these people how good he was. How many times did he tell them people he was humble? How many times did he tell them people he was loving? How many times did he tell these people not now time? Even what we read last night with him washing his disciples' feet, it was to set the example, because this is what I want you to do. I want you to serve each other, because you're around here doing what? Beefing about who the greatest. And see, I can't have that. He said that's what the Gentiles do. We don't live like that. What's another thing he told us not to do that the Gentiles do? I'm talking about Yahushua specifically.
Praying in the street.
No, he ain't necessarily mention the Gentiles.
He said, I'm trying to think of scriptures.
It's in that message, though.
For all these things the Gentiles do. I can't remember.
Seeking after food and clothing and shelter.
Yeah.
So that's all the things the nations seek after. See, we ain't supposed to be seeking after that. You know why we ain't supposed to be seeking after that? Because it's Yahuwah give you power to get wealth. All you got to do is seek him. He'll take care of it. What did this man tell you? Take no thought for your what? Your life. And when he broke all the way that down, he said, these are the things that the Gentiles seek, that the nations seek. That doesn't mean an excuse to be, because you know the ISUPK nigga just shared a video today. They've been pressing it all the time. They say every woman who married ought to give her check to her husband and make him rich. It's hilarious, but at the same token, though, I tell you like this here, though. If you got bread and your nigga struggling and you don't give him some of that bread or half of it, you's a dirty bastard. Ain't nowhere in the world. Ain't nowhere in the world you supposed to look at your nigga struggling and you got bread and you don't hit him off. You ain't down with it. You ain't down with it. You know what I'm talking about? And I know that from personal experience. Boy, I used to mess with a chick, but she ain't have enough money to buy us both something to eat, and we ate out the same plate. You know what I'm talking about? She went and bought some food, busted open, and say, this is what we gonna do.
You get a wing, I get 1,000.
You know what I'm saying? That's real talk, though. Because we're going to talk about that when we get finished. A woman's supposed to be, now, that nigga was talking about something else, because them niggas don't work. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas don't work. Most of them UPK niggas don't work. Well, I heard one of them dudes, man, that nigga wife said, can't verify it. This is her accusation, though. Let's make that clear. This is her accusation. That woman say, she asked that nigga for $15, and he say, well, what I'm going to eat if I give it to you? Because these niggas have more than one wife, and they don't even sleep under the same roof. Which means that ain't your wife, you humping around. Straight up. Straight up. I can't be married to you, and you stay on the north side, she stay on the south side, and this nigga stay out east. How that gonna work?
We blessed, brother. We got many homes.
Many homes. And they names on all of them.
Many mansions, brother.
And their names on all of them.
Many mansions, brother.
They say the nigga exact sentiment was you supposed to make the black man rich. Now, truth be told, though, if your husband asked for your whole check, you'd have to give it to him. You'd have to give it to him. You'd have to give it to him. Hey, what the word say? You got to submit to your husband and everything. See, niggas don't think about that before they sign on the dotted line and they live this way. That man say, I want that whole check. Well, you got to run that. Nigga say, I need that. It is what it is, though. It is what it is.
Ain't nothing wrong about it.
Ain't nothing wrong about it. That's it. That's how you want it. That's the type of stuff you want to figure that out beforehand. You gonna want all my check. I might as well stay home then. But then at that point, if he stay home, don't complain about this, that, then the third, because he got to carry the whole load on his back. When he got to carry the whole load on his back, you ain't got no room to really say we can't do. But shoot, you gonna have to go and get their bread. Then you gonna have to do something. Shoot, better knit some socks. Sell them on the internet.
Still need that.
Shoot. Y'all have mercy on the soul. That's what Tamara used to do. She used to knit socks, little baby booties and all. And off them too. Why you playing? You know what I'm talking about?
That's a virtuous woman, no, man.
Why you playing? With a cleaning company. Why you playing?
I ain't idle.
No, she wasn't idle now. She definitely wasn't idle. Yeah, you can't be no virtuous woman, be idle. We're going to talk about that when we get done, though.
It's time.
That nigga fell out like somebody shot him. Y'all ain't know that? Y'all know a virtuous woman ain't idle. She don't sit around not doing nothing. He enjoyed that. It is what it is. It's just no different than a righteous man gonna handle his business. It go both ways. It's not a singular thing. It go both ways. Come on, man. Juice always make it better.
It's yours, not mine.
He said, I ain't want it. Look how you looking at it. This ain't no liquor in there. Around here giving me that flat grape juice. I like mine fermented.
Hey.
We ain't got time for all that, son. Come on, Proverbs 26. We'll move on from that point, because I got a major point that I got to hit. Oh, yeah, 12 and 9. Revelation 12 and 9. Come on.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the adversary, and Hashatan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his Malachim were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice in Shamahim. Now is the salvation and strength and the kingdom of our Elohim, and the power of his Mashiach, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before Elohim day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony.
And love not their own lives to the what?
To the death.
To the death.
Therefore rejoice.
That's good.
Shamahim.
That's what it means to be faithful. You can't love your own life. See, niggas around here, you love your life. What did the Mashiach tell you? What profit a man if he do what? And what did he say after that, though? It's a lot of people not losing their life. So you're not faithful. See, niggas think, I'm keeping the laws, but you ain't faithful because you ain't gave your life up. That's faith right there. That's faithful right there. That's a mamoon for you behind right there all day long. Proverbs 26 and 13. We going to get to verse 16, but we'll read all these other ones, though.
The slothful man saith, there is a lion in the way, a lion is in the street.
Mm-hmm.
As the door turneth upon his hinges, so doth the slothful upon his bed.
Oh, man, that's no... Now, that's it, just on the face of it and not going no deeper. See, that's horrible. Say a lazy nigga just lay on their bed and turn. Won't get his thinking behind up and do nothing.
Like that door open and shut.
Like that door open and shut. That's how the nigga roll around in the bed.
Flip the pillow.
Read it to him again, man.
He said, as the door turneth upon his hinges, so doth the slothful man upon his bed.
It didn't say slothful. Don't put no man. Slothful go either way. Don't matter. You supposed to get your behind up. You know the only way you can lay down and roll on your bed is if you got enough residual income every day that you ain't got to get up and go do nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's some people that's exactly what they do every day. They get up 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon because they can. You know what I'm saying? If you know you can't start working for 3 months, then you ain't got no business laying in the bed. You'll be surprised how many people that don't have to work for 3 months and it's not going to affect their standard of living. And they ain't rich like you think they got to be rich. They just have certain residual income or things of that nature where it's not necessary that they got to get up and go to work today. Whether they own their company or whether they don't. I can call out today. It don't make no difference. Ain't nobody in the room could take 3 months off. Ain't nobody in the room could take 2 weeks off. You can take those.
Not me. I ain't saying me, man.
I don't think nobody in can take 14 days off and ain't nothing gonna get behind. Well, who in here can take 14 days off and ain't nothing gonna get behind?
Saying, bro. That was a bold statement.
Indeed it was. That's why I said it. I ain't got it on your pocket. I know niggas ain't like this here. Like I can just say, boy, I ain't gonna make no money for 14 days straight.
You don't know how Quay living, boy. You don't know how that man living? Sure. You don't know how Zach living.
When you asked
in
them,
that nigga
y'all can take,
pocket, man.
I ain't in nobody's pocket. You jumped in their pocket.
What nigga can and can't do?
Well, go ahead, shoot. Well, who in here can
I
take?
can't, but you don't know.
Who in here can take 30 days off?
You should ask first.
I'm gonna work it out. I'm gonna work it down. I'm gonna work it down. No, actually, I actually started at 90 days.
He started at 90.
And then I said 30.
14, bro.
Then I said 30 days.
That's 2 weeks.
And 14 days.
That ain't. Nigga ain't gonna drown in 2 weeks. I am, but you feel me?
Boy,
That one check. Yeah, thank you.
it's one check.
Appreciate it, bro.
It's one check though.
But
But
be homeless in 2 weeks.
I ain't saying nothing about being homeless. But you know what you're gonna be though? You're gonna start to be behind the 8 ball. And once you get behind the 8 ball, you don't never know how stuff can get once you get behind the 8 ball. You don't never want to get behind the 8 ball. So then you can't afford to do it. Then you can't afford to do it. I mean, nothing can't be lacking. Nigga around here, we can't put no gas in the car. Well, what you got in the refrigerator? Your player partner.
Player partner. Bacon soda.
You know what I'm talking about? That's what you got in there. Bacon soda.
Your player partner.
Your player partner.
I know that's what I'm gonna have.
You know what I'm talking about?
Bacon soda and ice.
Baking soda and ice. But that's just something that, you know what I'm saying? You wanna try to rotate yourself to be able to do that. Though. Ain't nothing. That's a good feeling in the world. It's people that I know of that's in their 30s and 40s, and them niggas is basically retired. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got to get up and do nothing, cause they got money coming in, so it don't matter. Where they don't actually have to physically get up. But if you ain't got that there, you ain't got no business like this here. Somebody open the door for them. Open it and close it. Book also tell you don't love sleep, you come to poverty. Say open your eyes and be filled with bread. But that's talking about something totally different what you think it's talking about, but we'll deal with that another day. Come on. Verse 15.
It says the slothful hideth his hand in his bosom, and it grieveth him to bring it again in his mouth.
What y'all think that means? Say the slothful man hide his hand in his bosom, it pain him to bring it to his mouth. Nah, it ain't cold outside. That nigga don't want to get up and do no work. He don't want to get up and do no work. It kill him, he got to get out there and go do something. Look at verse 16 though. Verse 16 make it even worse.
The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a
He
reason.
say he wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that could give him some reason. You know what that word for conceit is in this verse? It's ayin. So it tells that the sluggard is wise in his own experience. So now he's lazy, nigga, is trying to tell you about his own experience.
That sound like a lazy nigga got more excuses than a little bit. That's what it sound like.
Yeah, that's what he's telling you. Since he mentioned that, go and get him Proverbs chapter 6. I think Proverbs chapter 6 say something about it. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 9. Proverbs 6 and 9. Listen what he say.
It says, how long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard?
How long you gonna be asleep?
When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep?
When you gonna get up?
Yet a little sleep and a little slumber, and a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man.
Now keep that in mind, right? Say your want gonna come as an armed man. You know, we've been hitting this stuff with the lazy stuff for the last couple of weeks. So we had mentioned that a little earlier. But come on back to Proverbs 26. You know what that word is for reason? It's ta'im. It means judgment, a ta'am. So what characters would you use for that? You got 3 of them. The word is spelled T-A'-A-M. So clearly you have a ta'al and a mean. So what is the one in the middle? Ain't nobody gonna take a stab at that, or you just gonna wait for us to tell you? So you got the IN, right? That would make sense clearly because he already talking about the sluggard's experience, and he said that his experience, he's wiser than 7 men that can give him some judgment. What y'all think that could mean right now? that his experience is better than 7 men that could give him some judgment. Just to keep it on the simplest the terms of it, right? Though it's not necessarily 7 direct men. When Yahushua was moving around, the scribes and the Pharisees were sluggers. How were they sluggers? Remember, the word for sluggard is atzal. You know, we talked about it today because it's a word, it's the shortened version for atzlah, for slothful. How were the scribes and Pharisees slothful? How were they sluggers? Because they said they were wise in their own experience. So that means that they were wise in their own eyes, basically. You know what I'm saying? Let's go over here to Matthew, right? I want to say Matthew 10. Let me say so Matthew 10 got what I want. Oh, that's Mark. I don't know why I'm not seeing what I'm looking for. That ain't it either. I'm trying to recall. There it is. Matthew 11 is what I wanted. Pick me up at about verse 16.
It says, but whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is likened unto children sitting in the markets and calling unto their fellows, and saying, we have piped unto you, and we have not danced. Ye have not danced. We have mourned unto you, and ye have not lamented.
What y'all think that means? I've piped to you, but you ain't danced. I've mourned towards you, and you have not mourned.
For John came neither.
Hold on, what y'all think that means? I've piped to you, but you haven't danced. I've mourned to you, but you haven't lamented.
Pipe is you. I done played some music.
I done played some music. But let's look at it. Give him Ezekiel 33. I heard what you got, Nisha, on you talking about the other one on the lamented. Ezekiel 33 and 29.
It says, then shall they know that
Back it up to 27, man.
It says, say thou thus unto them, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, as I live, surely they that are in the wastes shall fall by the sword, and him that is in the open field will I give to the beast to be devoured, and they be in the forts, and the cave shall die of the pestilence. For I will lay the land most desolate and I will lay the land most desolate, and the pomp of her strength shall cease, and the mountains of Yasharah shall be desolate, and none shall pass through. Then shall they know that I am Yahuwah when I have laid the land most desolate, because of all their abominations which they have committed.
Look at what he said in verse 30.
Also, thou son of man, the children of thy people still are talking against thee by the walls and the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, every one to his brother, saying, come, I pray you, and hear what is the word that cometh forth from Yahuwah. And they coming unto thee as people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people. They hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goes after covetousness.
Their covetousness, the things that they lust after. Go ahead.
And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song.
One that have a what?
A pleasant voice.
And can play well on what?
An instrument.
For they do what?
They hear thy words.
And they won't do what?
They do them not.
Go ahead.
And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come.
Then they will know that a prophet has been among them. So when Yahushua come around and tell you, I've piped to you and you haven't danced. I spoke this word to you and you didn't do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because he said you come unto them as one with a pleasant voice who plays nice on an instrument. But they hear your words and they won't do them. So then when he say, I have mourned unto you and you have not lamented, that take you back to what happened when the book of Ezra and the book of Nehemiah specifically, actually. When he stood in front of the people and he opened the book of the law and the people mourned with him. Because I'm telling you what's going to happen to you because of your behavior, and it doesn't make you sorrowful. You're not moved to repentance. I have no idea who that is. How you doing? Go ahead. Back to Matthew. You stopped in verse 17. Read it to him again.
It said, and say, we have piped unto you, and ye have not danced, and we have mourned unto you, and ye have not lamented.
I might have to have somebody run over here. We might have to open up this door. So I apologize.
Oh, no sweat, no sweat. Go ahead, man.
We have mourned unto you, and ye have not lamented. For John came neither eating or drinking, and they say he had the devil.
Why did John didn't come eating or drinking? Because he was a Nazarite. What was John's diet?
Locusts and wild honey.
So he wasn't sitting down eating with them. Look what Yahushua say though.
The Son of Man came eating and drinking.
And they said what?
Behold, a man gluttonous.
And a what?
A wine bibber.
And a friend of who?
Publicans and sinners.
But what?
Wisdom is justified of her children.
So you see that right there? So this sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men who could reason with him. Because he's sitting here telling them about themselves. They were so wise. What were some of the things that they were doing that was outside of the word according to their own experience? Remember how you were telling them about I tithe the mint, the anise, and the cumin. Oh, I'm glad I'm like these sinners.
Telling people not to take care of their parents.
Telling people not to listen to their parents. They could curse their parents.
Like they saying they out praying in the street.
Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why they wouldn't listen to this man, because they were wise in their own eyes. They were wise by their own experience, and he couldn't reason with them. He couldn't render no judgment unto them. So that's why he sat back and told them, you'll have some people say that at that. See, he say nigga too much. And he don't dress like this or dress like that. And wisdom is justified by all her children. You go ahead and you justify yourself then. You know what I'm saying? You can say all this, that, there, and the third. But shoot, bro, I ain't doing none of that stuff you got going on. You know what I'm saying? They call that man a drunk and a glutton. You know how disrespectful in our society it was to call somebody a glutton? That's not something. See, people don't care now about being greedy and eating till they sick. You know what I'm saying? Straight up though. Says people don't even use the terminology glutton anymore. They just say you greedy.
People probably weren't as big as they is now though back then.
No, not at all. People were much leaner then. Like I was telling you what the brother was talking about he felt like a bodybuilder's frame is unnatural. But I'm like, he know it is unnatural because they on steroids. You know what I'm saying? Talking about a real bodybuilder that you see be all like this here. Oh yes, God yes. That man then came out and said I was roided up. And he was big, but it wasn't it's not the big like they got now. Because they ain't look that unnatural. You know why? Because they got HGH and this and that. And that man was working though. He will work. Let me tell you something, man. I want y'all to know this right here, right? You can take steroids, but you still gotta go in the gym and put in the work. The only thing the steroids do is help you recover faster.
Rock takes steroids. I'm trying to tell you.
He probably do. He was already. I would put it this way. He's already a big dude. When he was wrestling, he was already 270 pounds. But he did not have the depth.
That big wrestling like he look now.
Oh no, he was big then. He was big when he played at Miami.
He don't look like he look now.
No, he's not bigger now. The reason why he looks bigger now is because his muscles are more defined. See, he had a doughy body back then. When he was on wrestling in WWF, he had a doughy body. You know what I'm saying? Now that nigga is shredded. And the leaner you are, the bigger you look. Because fat takes up less space on your body than muscle does. So the less fat, muscle take up more space on your body than fat does. So the more muscle you got, the bigger you're gonna look. You know what I'm saying? So if you say you weigh 225 pounds, but you 4-5% body fat, you're gonna look like you weigh 240. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna look bigger. But he could be on steroids. I mean, but like I say, he's a big dude anyway. Like he's always been 275. He's always been 275. You know what I'm saying? So, but I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, they got access to it. Most actors, when you see in movies, get that big real quick. Like the dude who played Wolverine, he always been big though.
Hey, he like to run outdoors.
No, who? Hugh Jackman? Oh, yeah, that man was on steroids to get that big that fast. You see, that's the thing. You don't know how that man got real big real fast. You're not getting that big that fast. And a good tape where you could be able to tell us how lean somebody is, because it's hard to be 3 to 6% body fat. And that's not healthy to even be that lean on a consistent basis. You know, like Cam Chancellor for the Seahawks, cuz like 4-5% body fat. know what I'm saying? He all muscle.
And you know that glut is what they be having on TV shows and say about
Yeah, like that video that I showed you yesterday. I told you to look at yesterday.
life or something.
Dude came in and said, how you got 10 pizzas and now you come home with 5. You ate 5 pizzas on the way home
Wait, that nigga said,
eat dinner.
He said you ate 5 pizzas on the way to dinner.
He did. He talking about you laying in the bed doing a split.
Baby was though. Baby was real limber to be that big.
Real
Baby was
limber.
doing a full split. 500
He said at least there's one person in this house trying to be healthy. But all jokes aside though, if somebody called you like it described the king of Eglon as being a fat man. Because people weren't big then. Like I was saying, the brother was talking about because you did so much agricultural work during that time period and you didn't eat, there was no such thing as processed foods. There was no McDonald's. There was no Zaxby's. There was no Chick-fil-A. There was none of that. So you kept a lean body type. You know what I'm saying? But I tell you what, all that stuff though, boy, that junk should be eaten sparingly because you're killing yourself. You know what I'm saying? Killing your own people.
Mar.
You better believe, right? Let's sit back. Let's just be honest, right? It takes 15 to 20 minutes to cook chicken at the house.
Come here.
And these people be pushing this junk out in 5 minutes. No, like I just seen KFC going vegan. They finna sell vegan because people don't want to eat this stuff. Like my homegirl asked, why ain't no Target on the north side? The same way it ain't no Whole Foods. No, they finna come out with vegan products because their market base is asking for it. So they're not gonna miss out on that money because people don't want to eat fried. Specifically, white people don't want to eat that no more. You know what I'm saying? See, niggas don't be caring. Niggas gonna eat anything. You know what I'm talking about? Because she was like, well, why ain't no Whole Foods over here? Because they want you to die. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? We happy to go do it. You know what I'm saying?
Or why don't be no save a lot over there, man?
Because they ain't finna buy it. They not gonna. Now that's just good business. I'm not gonna put something somewhere I know ain't nobody gonna shop. Cause them white people.
Nothing cheap. They ain't gonna put nothing low quality over there.
Yeah, cause they not going.
They not gonna buy it.
They not gonna buy it.
Straight up.
I just seen a video with white people making Kool-Aid. That nigga was offended. They ain't put no sugar in the thing. And nigga like this here, you supposed to do it like this here. And we proud to say, I want diabetes. We proud of it. And guess and like a lot of people say, but they don't be lying. The first thing.
That's why they don't respect us as a people though.
Because they know you killing yourself. Yeah. And you happy to, and on top of that, you happy to pay me for you to kill yourself. You paying me to do it.
That's another reason why them North Africans and them Arabs, that's why they do us like that. They watch us coming in.
And pay for death. With a smile.
Ask for singles and ask for cigarette after cigarette and blunt after blunt and 45 after 45 and MD after MD every day.
And they laughing. And they laughing. Every day
all day.
They don't care.
They don't, how can you
them niggas don't even like eat pork and they selling it to you. You know what I'm saying? Guess what though? White people like a lot of restaurants, but a lot of restaurants niggas go to, you don't see a lot of white people in there on a regular basis. Because they ain't buying it. Not if they got a little bit of bread or some sense.
It's certain stuff.
It's just certain.
Like Zaxby's. Cracker loves that. I ain't gonna lie, man. 2 on San Jose, right in Mandarin. I mean, they like a mile apart on the same exact road, and the Chick-fil-A right in the middle. Like, crackers like that fried chicken.
They like certain type of fried chicken.
Niggas don't be in Kentucky Fried Chicken. Like
Guess
that.
what? I was telling them yesterday, right? I did that grocery shopping thing. A lady wanted a Publix fryer. That junk was about this big. The green, well, maybe even bigger. The green wise one was this big. You know what I'm saying? Because the chicken ain't that big. You already know that. Niggas don't want to buy nothing green wise. I don't want that.
Really, because it be hot, though.
Shoot, I'd rather it be hot.
I don't care how the chicken is, bro.
Shoot, I'd rather it be
how much it costs.
I'd rather it be hot and I be alive.
Nah, niggas looking at that price.
Nigga don't be caring. Come on, man. Nigga around here pulling up on the spot of 5 for $5.
Bro. Niggas care about price, bro. That's why you can't put no Whole Foods in the hood. Every nigga go in there and be like, this. Man,
no, I ain't gonna say nigga care about price because niggas spend money on the most asinine things. So it ain't about the price. A nigga, I don't want to spend money on that.
Food wise, nigga not spending no money on food. So.
You know what I'm
nigga
saying?
buy $1,000 watch.
But get what though? But I done had some black people who I done had some black people I done went shopping for, and that's what they want. And they stay in the hood. Let me get that green wise. Let me get that organic. That's what they want. So it's informational. It's informational.
It's situational.
But get what though? Chick-fil-A probably killing a nigga too. I don't care nothing because the people happy and nice in there.
Oh no.
That's what they tell me.
That don't mean that chicken ain't.
That's what they tell me.
That don't mean that chicken ain't pumped up though. That don't mean that chicken not.
Guess what?
Up,
at the end of the day, you hoping them people got real chicken back there. How you know? What that mean?
You didn't see where they got that chicken.
You don't know where they got that chicken from. You don't know how it was raised. You don't know what they did with it.
That chicken still pumped up though. It's still pumped up.
They serving so much chicken day in and day out.
Ain't that much chicken on the planet. Okay, you say it is. Let's just be real, right? You got Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, Churches, KFC, any sit-down restaurant that serve chicken, Bojangles, grocery stores. The Arabs sell chicken on Liberty.
Crispy Crunchy on gas station.
In 50 states. In 50 states. That's a lot of chicken. Boy, somebody eating something
But it's
synthetic.
a lot of niggas though. I look at it. You gotta look at the
Somebody
people
eating
ratio.
something synthetic.
If it's this many people on Earth, it can be at least 10 times as much chicken. Think about how many chickens.
I hope
you
it
have
is.
at one time.
I
You
hope
got
it's a lot of
kids,
chicken.
1, 2, maybe 3 at a time. Man, chickens drop 12, 15 chickens at one time.
But they got them in there eating poop and they scan them.
What I'm saying.
I've been talking, man. I don't know how much chicken it is, but that's a lot of chicken every day to be cooking.
They just put steroids so they can grow faster. That's all.
That's a lot of chicken now. That's a lot of chicken. Somebody getting skimmed. Shoot, I say all of them. One thing for certain. Check this out though. Check this out though. Hey, we gonna move on. But I'm gonna tell you something, boy. I don't trust no white man when he tell me if it's 100% chicken, he probably lying. Boy, you show me a white man, I'll show you a lie. One with some money that own a company, I'll show you a lie. What? Cause at the end of the day,
Y'all can look like chicken.
you know the only thing they care about? When I say white man, I'm talking about business people. You show me a corporation, I'll show you a lie. Don't you know them people used to sell tainted bear back in the day, had AIDS in it, ain't say a word. Oh yeah, y'all know about that before your time.
Niggas was buying bear.
Bear, aspirin, had tainted with AIDS.
Bear.
And they were selling it.
Bear.
B-A-Y-E-R, the aspirin. Had AIDS in it. This was in the 80s. It was in the 80s. Come on, man. You know this stuff. You know this stuff wicked. You know stuff is wicked when you got the option to buy organic. Nigga, everything should be organic.
Yeah, that more definitely.
Come on, man. Organic bananas or regular. Well, what kind of bananas are these? Green wise chicken, regular chicken. Well, what kind of chicken is this?
Yeah, no GMO. No antibiotics.
Come on,
no
man.
Steroids. No high fructose.
But no, my point is the fact
Why
that
you have to put that
why does there have to be an option? That means you killing me.
They got organic pork too.
You know what I'm saying? So that means to tell me if I can go, then we should, this just be wise, right? We do it because of convenience. But if we know that we can get a meal in less than 10 minutes, we probably shouldn't be eating it.
I don't know, bro.
If you got to pull up and you can get a meal in less than 10 minutes,
Depending on what you buy. Well, if I'm going to get a fruit salad, a chicken salad.
we ain't talking about, let's see serious. Ain't nobody pulling up no fast food restaurant for no fruit salad.
Sure, I got me a chicken salad from Zaxby's yesterday. 2 minutes, quite delightful.
Get what though? That chicken's still in there. How long it took them to cook it?
It was probably already cooked. They just
I know it's already cooked. But that's not the point. Let's not be anal here.
I'm just saying.
No, that's not.
But I'm saying if we eating right. No, I said that to say if we eating right.
But I mean, that's not.
Listen.
No.
It shouldn't take long.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
if
what
you
I'm
eating right. If you buying healthy stuff, it don't take long to make healthy stuff.
No, but I'm talking about let's not be anal. You know full well if you can pull up and pick your food up from a window, you probably shouldn't be eating there. I'm just saying that period, we all know it. Everybody in here pull up to a window. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we all pull up to the window knowing full well I ain't got no business eating this crap, but let me get 3 of them. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because guess what? You know why people go to restaurants? Convenience. You know what I'm saying? And your money. Because if you ain't got no bread, then you be like this here. McDonald's it is. That's what a lot of people do. Now, I just use them as an example. You know what I'm saying? It's really good convenience. You know what I'm saying? Because most people feel like I ain't cooking. But I tell you like this here. Ain't that woman in here got no business going to a restaurant to get something to eat more times in a week than she cook. You ought to be shamed. And you say you're a virtuous woman.
Well, I work.
Hey, but a virtuous woman's supposed to make the pots clink, ain't it? It's supposed to be burning. I'm just talking about what it say for a virtuous woman.
On Sundays and Tuesdays.
Just like the brother said, you cook vegetables, not in the can either. Don't be steam freshen. Don't be steam freshen.
I feel like a can is the same as in a bag, though, bro. They both take 2 seconds.
No, the can they talking about because what's in the can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the key. Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's get this. I got to roll. Deuteronomy chapter 22. Because I done made my point. Deuteronomy 22 and 25. No, I mean, I'm serious because I'm just setting y'all up for what I'm finna talk about when we get finished. That's all. I do, though. I already told you. You already know. That's how you know. You know, I didn't be setting it up. Knock them down. 22 and 25 Deuteronomy. All jokes aside, though, man. Like a virtuous woman, though. Shoot. Yeah, man. She supposed to cook. She supposed to take care of her household. That's if you want to be classified as one. Like, shoot, boy. Because if a man want to be classified as a righteous man, he supposed to go get it by the sweat of his brow. And direct the house in righteousness. And provide. So, shoot, the least you could do is cook that man something to eat. Nobody want to hear nothing about you tired. Shoot, he would probably, how would you feel if he looked you in the face and say, I'm too tired to go to work today, you go. See, I heard this say true. Now then that means now you got to come here and you got to carry the whole load for the whole family every day. Now ain't no couple days. We talking about switch it out.
That's an even swap, no swindle.
So until the niggas see them responsibility, they might want to swap it back. You might want to swap it back.
You still your back after a day.
You know, I got to carry the whole load and direct the house. And like, I carry the whole load. I carry the whole load. Deuteronomy 22 and 25.
But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her,
he forced her and lie with her.
Then the man only that lay with her shall die.
Shall die. Now pause. Give me Proverbs 27 and 26.
The lambs are for thy clothing.
What that mean? Go ahead.
And the goats are price of the field.
What y'all think that mean? The lambs are for your what?
Your clothing.
Your lambs are for what?
Your clothing.
What does that mean? Somebody get me Genesis chapter. Give me Genesis chapter 3, man. Pick me up at verse 20.
And Adam called his wife named Eve because she was mother of all living. And Adam also and his wife and Adam also to his wife did Yahuwah make clothes of skins and clothed them.
Coats of skins.
Coats and clothed them.
Why did he have to make them clothing? Why were they naked?
Because of their sins.
Because of their sins. You see, that goes back to what we were talking about as forth as a faithful man who can find, because this man had to be faithful in order to do what? To make reconciliation for iniquity and make an end of sins and transgressions. Get a Revelation 16 and 15.
Behold, I come as a thief, Baruch is he that watches and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame.
Lest they what?
Walk naked and they see his shame.
So what you need, right? The lamb skin. The lamb is for thy clothing. Romans 13 and 14, he told you to put on who? Yahushua HaMashiach, right? And make no provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. But what does he mean when he say the goats? Somebody close the doors. The goats are the price of the field. Now, when you look at field, the word is today. You got 3 characters for it. The word for price is mechir, M-E-C-H-I-Y-R. You got 4 characters for that. So let's look at price. You got meme, and what else you got? You would have a cot, and then you would have a yard, and then you would have a rosh. And what would that mean? If we look at meme, we'd probably come over here with blood. You come with cot, you're going to probably come with separate. When you come with yard, you're going to sit back and see that it's going to be the work. And when you come with rosh, it's going to be the head. So the work, basically the work of the highest or his blood is going to separate you, and this is that price. So it's the blood of a Mashiach that buys this field. But now when you come to this part, when we deal with field and you have Sadeh, you got 3 characters for that. What would you use? Clearly, we're going to use Samak for one, Dalet for the other, and Hay for the last one. For Samak, what would you sit back and look at? Would you use for the field, for definition-wise? What would you say, sir?
What I'm getting out of field?
For Samak, what would we use?
It ain't some Mark, it's Sean. That's what
What's
I'm
up?
confused.
Well, shoot, I ain't got no H in, on mine. Mine's just S-A-D-E-H.
What I'm saying it's still Sean.
See how you saw that, sir?
I'm just looking at what it says.
Mine ain't say that. There you go.
It ain't about it being SH.
I ain't see nothing. So I'm gonna take what I see.
Oh. So Sean, Dollar, hey.
So which we gonna use for that? But what somebody sprayed in here? That's who? What he sprayed?
What does it smell like?
It smell like perfume.
Yeah, smell it. Yeah, I'm doing something. I smell alcohol.
Man, you just put that ball on top of me.
He said he pooed it.
That nigga stink.
What's up, man? That picture, he pooed it.
Christian.
He pooed it. He pooed it.
You ain't right.
Like, trying to blame him. She the one over there flattering.
What? You really telling fast? That's so fast.
No Christian.
Y'all like, damn, that's Christian.
I ain't gonna blame the boy for farting. You over there farting. It's okay. How long it took you before you farted in his presence?
I took a long time.
You saw his face. You saw his face. You see that nigga face.
I remember my homeboy said, "You farted?" My homeboy said, "Woman farted in his presence." He said, "It's over." He said, "Can you do it?" I said, "A woman fart?" I said, "What that nigga doing?" There's how long it took. She probably farted on the first day. They'll put you right out the house. They ride in the car. What that was? Oh, I just pulled it. And he probably opened the door and rolled you out. And he said, "She keep coming back. I can't make her go away. She keep coming back." So guess what, right? We're going to consume what? Or you could put at the him that is hanged. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm looking at Phil.
Well, look at hay. What's all the meanings of hay? We're going to remove behold. We could sit back at a man with raised arms.
But see, if you look at how they got that one with it too. They got the yard,
Hey, come here.
the yard or the hay. Interchangeable.
They want to talk to you, cuz.
This little Snoop, live from the pen.
No, when you look at hay, you can look at a man with raised arms. This man with raised arms is consumed by being hanged. Do you know what I'm saying? And the price to buy the field is what? Say a goat is the price of the field. Now, let's come back to Deuteronomy 22. Keep that in mind. Read 22 and 26. Little Eugene, what you like back there, Eugene? I don't know what it is about that stand. Eugene like it though. Come on, man. Deuteronomy 22 and 26, so we can wrap this up and get on out of here.
But
Deal
unto
with
the
the next
damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is a damsel. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man rises against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in
Hold on, start
guilt.
back. I'm sorry. Start at verse 23. We started too low.
It
Deuteronomy
said,
22 and
damsel,
23.
If a damsel that is a virgin is betrothed unto a husband, and the man find her in the city and lie with her,
So remember, if she's betrothed, what is she?
engaged.
She's engaged. You know, in our society, in our culture, if you're engaged to a woman, you know what that means? That's your wife. That ain't no my fiance. That's European stuff. That's your wife. You know what I'm saying?
That mean the down payment done been.
That down payment done been dropped. That's your wife. You know what I'm
You
saying?
can drive off the lot, huh, brother?
You can drive off the lot as soon as that covenant made. You can drive off the lot. Don't drive off for that covenant made though.
But say I put my down payment in.
Yeah, but you ain't signed that paperwork. Some of y'all don't went and got a car and you dropped the down payment, but you hadn't finished signing that paperwork. That wasn't your car yet.
It was my car.
It is your car, but it ain't your car. Because that paperwork ain't been signed. It ain't official. You know what I'm talking about? Or a dowry, that's a down payment. That's why you think it said about Joseph and Mary, what it said, his betrothed what? It ain't say his betrothed fiance. Once you engage, that's your wife.
I mean, you put down on the car, you just can't drive it yet.
I seen the lady on my page the other day, though, and everybody don't fit that scenario, but she was like this here. If a nigga claim he in the word, and that nigga don't want to talk to your daddy, your brother, there's a problem. So I was in that situation. Nigga daddy act like I'm supposed to move on his own time. I say, I see that nigga when I see him. You know what I'm talking about? All that, oh, I'm finna go do this and go do that and think I'm gonna be ready for you at the drop of a dime? Shoot, I got testicles too, cuz. You ain't finna do me like that.
But that's that man's daughter.
I wouldn't care what it was. I also got time too. You ain't finna be pulling me on by no
I
thread.
feel what you're saying, though, but look, take it in the word aspect. If it's certain things that this maiden's father wants you to do, bro.
No, he didn't want me to do nothing. We had a set time where I was supposed to go holler at him, and then he kept changing it, and then when he was ready, he said, come on now. Well, shoot, I'm occupied, sir.
I'm saying if you want his wife, I mean, if you want
Okay,
his
at the
daughter,
same token, though, but...
I'm just saying.
But no, you
word-wise,
ain't finna be running me around here
I ain't
doing me
saying
like
you
that,
gotta
though.
son you, but I'm saying if you
That's what the nigga was doing. what I'm telling you.
I'm just saying you're gonna be his son if you want his daughter.
But shoot, number one, you're heathen. Number two, you ain't finna son me, not like that, because I was ready for
That's what
you.
I'm saying, word-wise, though.
But he ain't in the word.
That's why I'm taking.
But he wasn't even coming at a
I'm
nigga
not talking
on.
about
Yeah, but he
that,
wasn't
though.
even coming at me
I'm
on
just
that.
saying
But it was
word.
already had been too late for that time. So you supposed to come day one. That was impossible to do. See what I'm talking about? Like, shoot. Ain't nobody, I guarantee you ain't nobody went in here. You ain't went and go holler at Shayla's daddy, did it? Wasn't even on the radar. Wasn't even nobody think about it. I sit back and look at it on right. If I was a woman and I was in the word and my male figure, so I can't even say if it's a male figure, you don't live with him. But if that nigga wasn't in the word, well, shoot, that nigga can't make no righteous determination. You know why I say that there? Because if a nigga was with a woman and he was sleeping with her, shacking up with her, your people wouldn't have no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? But if you was teaching her to do right and showing her the right way, they'll have a problem with it.
Trying to take my baby.
You trying to take my baby. Ain't that funny? If you trying to lead him in righteousness, they tell you trying to take him away. If you making a whore out of her, he's a good man. No, he treat her good. You know, that's how backwards people are. I'm telling you that because I experienced it. That's how backward people live. Because you know why? Because when you look at it, you dealing with the word, they feel like that word, which it does, is separating that person from them. So then they feel like you taking their daughter or their sister or their cousin or their niece from them. You know what I'm saying? But if you were laid up in the bed slinging meat, you know what I'm talking about? Not doing nothing you supposed to be doing.
Man, that's how the family rolls. Join the family.
Join the family.
Welcome to the club.
Ain't nobody got a problem with it. He a good man, girl. Why you say he a good man? He treat her well. They live together and all. He pay all the bills. They married. Now, shoot, they don't need to get married. Ain't no big deal. They got 4 bastard children. We love them all. Niggas say we gonna wait to have a kid till we get married. Must say that man ain't no good for you. That's how people operate, though. You'll be shocked if you went to your people and said, we not gonna have sex till we get married, and we not gonna do this here. Nigga, look at you stupid. You get shacked up with him and have 3, 4 children out of wedlock, and everybody gonna beat up. When the baby shower? Cause truth be told, we shouldn't go to no baby showers or no bastard children. We do anyway, but niggas shouldn't just to show I don't agree with it. That didn't say for the food. Because remember, it was a preacher in Detroit where the people got mad because he wouldn't christen somebody's baby because they were born out of wedlock. And they told him he was wrong. He wasn't, though.
That's right.
He wasn't, though. He said, I ain't doing it.
That's what you call tight.
But you know what I'm saying? He said, I don't believe in this. I'm not promoting it. And people get offended because people would rather you condone me moving backwards than doing stuff how it's supposed to be done. That's how dumb we is. Because people get offended. You know, people get offended by it because it reflects on what they doing. And I don't want to reflect on what I'm doing. Continue. We in verse 24.
It say, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones.
You shall what?
Stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city.
She cried what?
She cried not, being in the city. And the man, because he had humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among
The word for humble is a nah. It literally means to humble or to bring low or to afflict the oppressed. It's 3 characters. Who would like to take a shot at it? It's A-N-A-H. So remember, you looking at that field, we looking at the man with the raised arms has been hanged on the door.
I mean, your wife.
Say that again. I didn't hear you. You got to say it again.
That's right.
What you finna say?
Man, is the verse pretty much saying your old lady, she a hoe if she don't cry out.
Yeah, that's what it's saying. She wanted to have sex with him. Dirty slut.
That is what it's saying, though. That's why she got to die.
That's why she got to die.
That's like, nigga come
Two people in this book. Two people in this book got raped. Who were they?
Donna. And,
Donna. Who was the other one? Tamar. And what did both of them do? They cried out. They protested. They wasn't with it. What happened to the men who raped them? They died. What happened to the women who got raped? They lived as they were supposed to. Continue. So you got to say the ayin, the noon, and the hay, right? So get what that's going to be, right? If you're humbled, then you're going to experience the man with the raised arms continual life, or continual life comes from the experience of the man with the raised arms. Because he was, exactly, you see the sacrifice when you get humbled. You know what I'm saying? Which take us back to what we were talking about not seeing no lion in the street and saying, oh, I can't go out there. There's a lion in the street. I mean, my homeboy said that about the dude he knew. He was like, boy, you got to go look to find you a job. Boy, he said, boy, you know I got warrants, boy. That nigga say he's just like the slothful man. There's a lion in the street. Because that was his thing he used to say. I got a warrant. I can't go out there. He did have warrants, but they were misdemeanors, though. Hide from no misdemeanor warrant. A little walkthrough. No, it ain't no little walkthrough, because boy, the right misdemeanor, you be sitting in the county 69 months. Hating life. You can't talk no bail bond about no warrant.
That time is past.
Yeah, you going to jail.
I mean, that time is past.
You could get a warrant, you could get a bond, you may not get a bond. Either way it go, you finna sit real tight. Keep on going, man. Hey. Come on, man. Verse 25.
It said, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die.
So when you got lie, it's shakab. It means to literally lie down, also to lie sexually. You got 3 characters for that. What would you use? Ravish. He told you that in Zechariah. They're going to ravish your women. They're going to rape them. Y'all know he said that in Zechariah 14, these people going to rape your women. That's ugly right there, man. You got the Sean, you got the coffin, you got the bot. What that going to tell us? If you're going to lie down, you got to be consumed with the work of the sun. You got to die with him. You got to die with him. Keep going, sir. Verse 26.
It says, but unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing.
The word for nothing is debar. Who knows what debar means?
Stanley know. His eyebrows went up.
His what?
His eyebrows went up.
His eyebrows went up. Who knows what the word debar
Bro,
means?
you do know what it means, bro.
I don't know the word.
Shayla, you know what the word debar means? D, you know what the word debar means?
Funny, go like that. Hey,
Dabarine.
What's the English word?
You don't know.
Nothing.
You don't know what dabarine means, do you? Yeah, it is in the Hebrew. I should give you a hint.
Yeah, to talk, you looked it up. She looked it up. It's the word. It means the word. Speech. So when he said, listen, right? So, but unto the damsel, thou shalt do nothing, or the word will not allow you to do anything to them. Continue.
There is a damsel. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man rises against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is his matter.
So when he said the word for sin, what character in the alphabet do y'all think is the word for sin? It's one of the 22 characters. Is the character for the word sin. It's not the regular word that's used for sin in this particular verse. It's one of the characters. Which one is it? Everybody get a shot. The yod. You said what? The yod? No. No, that's it. Don't look it up now. You good. What character do you think it is?
No, you can look at the alphabet. You can't look at. He talking about.
Don't
the
look
word
it up.
in the verse.
What character do you think it is, Calvin?
I got a hint.
What you think it is? What you think it is? What you think it is, Monte? Sam? What you think it is, Jughead Jones?
What were you with?
Well, she ain't paying attention. What you think it is, Darius? Sean, what you think it is? What you think it is, little Muffin? Huh? What you think it is, Shayla? What you think it is, Mom? D, what you think it is? She say something? What you think it is? What you think it is, Will? What you think it
I
is?
know what it is.
Oh, you looked it up already.
I know what it is.
What you think it is, Lee? Yeah. Sean, D, you had an answer?
Can I get another try? I wasn't really good.
Go ahead.
I thought it said dead 15. Sorry.
Go.
I think it's
What you got for me, little muff? You thinking it's hay? Stanley got it right. Stanley got it right. It's cot. It's the cot.
My man.
It's to separate.
I was saying do.
So when you look at it, right? So when he said that there's no word that can cause me to separate this person from me. Remember, because he's coming to make what? Reconciliation of iniquity. It say in this damsel, there is no sin in her. There's nothing, because what does sin do? It separates you from Elohim. Therefore, there's nothing in this woman that can separate her from me. Get me Ezekiel 18:1.
The word of Yahuwah came unto me again, saying, what mean ye that ye use this proverb concerning the land of Yasharal, saying, the fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge. As I live, said Yahuwah Elohim, ye shall not have occasion anymore to use this proverb in Yasharal. Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth it shall die. But if a man be just and do that which
Okay,
is
that's
lawful,
good. It said the soul that sinned it or what? Elohim live forever. So anything that bring forth death gonna cause you to be separated from him. Now I missed the word for among that he read, right? When he say put that evil from among you, that word is kareb, and it means the inner or the in the midst or the inner part. You got three characters for that. Kareb. Q-E-R-E-B.
that's what we're for heart too. I didn't see the use for heart.
Yeah, pretty much that's what it is the heart. Inner parts, your inner man. He said you got to get, so when he say to get that evil from among you, you got to keep that evil heart from among you. If you done humbled his neighbor's wife, you got to put it away when you done did this in the city. But come on back to verse 28, though. Go on and read me verse 28. Yeah, it's Deuteronomy.
If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, the man that lay with her, he shall give the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away at all his days.
That's good. Now, when the word for cried, right, is to sock. Means to cry out, to cry aloud, or cry out because of grief. It's TSA''AQ. And who'd like to take a shot at that? Clearly, the first one is quite easy. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
You only got two choices now, brother. That was
That is in the spelling. It's TSA''AQ.
So you got the first and the last, brother.
You need the one in the middle.
Been rocking with it all day. Might as well keep it.
Stay with it. Dice been hitting for you. So what will we come up with out of that? And we're going to sit back and then we're going to take it and tie it in and slide on out of here. It's cried.
It's the side, ayin, and kuf.
It's the sod, the ayin, and the kuf.
No, I'm talking about
Cried.
Cry.
So remember we looked at Anah for humble, and that was about the sacrifice. When he said that he forced her, that's the word kazak, and that's to prevail or to overcome or to be stronger than. Of course, so, and again, when we looked at verse 26, thou shalt do nothing, there's in the damsel no sin worthy of death. There's no word that can separate this woman from me. So what would facade, what would you use?
I'm trying to think of what the side means.
The way, harvest, what else?
official, chasing, journey, to pull towards, leaning on one side.
So on this one here, we're going to use pull towards. Because they're crying out because of grief. So for Ayin, what would you use? Read them all out, though.
That in eyes to watch, to know the word, conversion in the soul, and experience.
So we'll say this one here, right? You want to use the word. That's what you said.
Yeah.
It's going to pull you towards the word. And for Kuf, we're going to lose final. So it's the final word that will pull you towards. Who is it pulling you towards? Because we got to look at when you're talking about crying out. Now I'm going to ask y'all a question, right? It said they prevailed, right? That he forced them to lie with her, and they prevailed over him. Where's the verse that we got forced at? Verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, the man only that lay with her shall die, because there's no sin in the woman. Now I want you to go to Job 19 and get me verse 10. Who knows what the name Gad means?
Yeah, true.
It means truth. Does anybody know in the prophecy of Genesis 49 what it said? Is anybody aware of it? He'll overcome at the last. This woman's being overcame. She cried out and there was nobody to save her. But he said, I'm going to kill the man and I'm going to spare you because ain't no sin in you. Job 19 and 10. And this is for the price of, where is the woman, where does it say the woman getting raped at?
In the field.
In the field. Go ahead. Job 19 and 10.
It said, he hath destroyed me on every side, and I am gone.
I'm gone.
And my hope hath removed like a tree.
Mm-hmm.
He have also kindled his wrath against me, and counted me unto him as one of his enemies.
Yes, sir.
His troops come together and raise up their way against me, and encamp round about my tabernacle.
Mm-hmm.
He hath put my brethren far from me, and my acquaintance are verily estranged from me.
He said his troops rose up against him, didn't he? So if his troops rose up against him and enclosed him, what is this telling us about? When they came and got a Mashiach, his troops rose up and they overtook him. Who knows where they grabbed the Mashiach at? He was in a garden. And then where did they take him to? Hebrews 13, right? Pick him up at verse 8. Where they took him to? No, they ain't taking the pilot. I'm talking about when they killed them, where they took him to.
Field that no man
They took him to a field where they took him to a sepulchre which no man laid, and they crucified him in a plain or in a field.
No, in a plane. No, in a cow. Not.
They took it to a place called Golgotha, called the place of the skull.
Yeah.
But where they had them stakes set up, that he was in a plain, he was in a field. He wasn't on no hill. 13 and 8.
It said, Yahushua HaMashiach, the same yesterday and today and forever. Be not carried about with diverse and strange doctrines, for it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace and not with meats, which have not profited them that have been occupied therein.
Yep.
We have an also whereof they have no right to eat, which serve the tabernacle, for the bodies of those beasts whose blood is brought into the sanctuary by the high priest for sin are burnt without the camp.
What did it say after that?
Wherefore Yahushua also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood, suffered without the gate.
Suffer without the what? If a woman getting raped in the field, where's she at? She would be outside the camp with them. And she was suffering outside the gate. Listen what it takes.
They say, let us go forth therefore unto him without the camp, bearing his reproach. For here have no continuing city, but seek one to come.
That's good. He said you need to go outside the camp and suffer with him. Now, the key point of what we look at in verse 26, it tell you in Deuteronomy 22, it wasn't no sin in this woman because she did what?
She suffered.
Because she cried out. She cried out. In Psalm 22, it tell you about crying out. Y'all know what it say? He told you what? He actually quoted it. He said what? My Elohim, why hast thou forsaken me? Don't you think if a woman were getting raped, that might be on her mind? And another place he said he cried out because of the wrong judgment was proceeding. So when we turn around and we look at Yahushua, right? I just mentioned it. You could go on to get it in Matthew 27:46. He was being forcefully, he had been overcome in the field. He had already been betrothed. Who was he betrothed to? Joshua. And they forced him to lie with him. So we're looking at lying here is not lying sexually, but to die with him. They were already dead. They wanted him to die with him. See, remember, because he said a goat is the price of the field. So he's also literally, he's multiple different things at multiple different times. You know what I'm saying? And he's purchasing the field so that lamb can be our clothing. But on top of that, that takes us back to that slothful man say, I can't go in the way there's a lion in the street. He went. A faithful ambassador bringeth health. He healed. As the cold and the snow in the time of harvest, so is a faithful messenger to them that sent him, for he refreshed the soul of his masters. Because this man is able to be forcefully overtaken, he can be able to return people back to his Elohim. Because there was, what did Pilate say when they got ready to kill him? I find no fault in this man. I find no error in this man. That don't line up with what the law say. The law say ain't no sin in him. This law literally said ain't no sin in this woman because she cried out because she was forcibly overtaken. Do you know what I'm saying? Yahushua was forcibly over. The book say there was no sin in him. We read it in 1 John, right? He sinned not. There ain't no sin in him. Come on, man. Matthew 27:46.
It said about the 9th hour, Yahushua cried with a loud voice, saying, Allah, Allah, lama shabatni. That is to say, my Elohim, why hast thou forsaken me? Some of them stood there.
So kick it, right? That's good. And verse 27, it said, because he found it in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was nobody to save her. What did we talk? That's why I mentioned what we read in Luke, right? What did Yahushua say they was going to say to him? And what did they say to him when he was on the stage?
Get yourself down.
Now read the verse you were finna read and look what they said.
It said, some of them stood there when they heard that and said, this man calls for Elijah.
So they thinking Elijah gonna come save him. Go ahead.
And straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it to a reed and gave him drink. The rest said, let us whether Elias will come save him.
So that's good. So what did the people say when they said that we want Barabbas? Before they said that, what did they say let be on them? His blood. So who the only people gonna die but the people who forced him? What did the people say in Acts? You intend to bring this man's blood on us. You know what I'm saying? So the only people who are going to die are the people who forced him or overcame him, or those who transgressed against him. But what we see in this precept of dealing with the woman who's been forcefully raped, you know what I'm saying, is that it's pertaining to a Mashiach being forcefully killed. And that's why you see him crying out. Because if he didn't cry out, then he would be a partaker of the evil deed, and therefore he would have to be stoned with them. But because he cried out, he gonna spare him because ain't no sin in him. You know what I'm saying? And then when we see this here, and you know what that take us back to? What do you got to do before you get immersed? So you got to cry out. So then when you go in that grave and you show forth ain't no sin in you, because now you put off the old man and put on the lamb for your clothing, because that goat is the price of the field, because of the man with the raised arms being hung on the door. You see how all that, and all that's going back to what? A faithful ambassador bringing health. That's going back to as the cold and the snow in the harvest, so it's a faithful messenger to him that sent him, because he refreshed the soul of his masters, or he shoed the nephash of his masters, or he's returning souls to his master. So that means now he's done what? He's finished the transgression, he's ended sins, and brought forth reconciliation for iniquity. So now you can return, because this man was kazak, or overcame, or prevailed against, but he overcame them at the last, because there was no sin in him at the end of it. So hallelujah for Yahushua in the word, and we'll stop right there. Yeah, to the person that's been, we appreciate you, but we finna slide. But check this out, y'all.